guys, welcome to the live. I was just noticing my Streamlabs, but I had restarted my computer. Oh, which reminds me. Do. Need my light shot. Oops, I gotta learn how to spell light shot, I suppose. There you are. Gotta have light shot. If you don't have it, it's a great grab screen. Screenshots. I always use the light shot program anyways. So happy Valentine's Day yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday to everybody. Hope you guys had a good day for that. I'm got a flu on Thursday, so I was didn't go out like we wanted to on Friday. Stayed in bed all day Friday, Saturday actually. Went to work today just because I can't ruin my no streak of not calling in sick. So I didn't want to ruin that streak that I have going for 2 years. But anyways, so my voice sounds a little bit whatever. It's just because I got a flu bug. But I wanted to do a live today because there was stuff that I wanted to talk about with the Nancy Guthrie case. Because every day I check it out, I'm watching it pretty much, all day yesterday in bed and everything, and get our hopes up, then get dashed, and get our hopes up again, then get dashed on this case. This case really takes the cake for, talking about a roller coaster ride. A roller coaster ride from hell is what it's been like, to be honest with you. That's all good. Just, I just take medicine, whatever. Me and my husband, after work, went out for our Valentine's Day dinner. Kind of pissed me off a little bit. They upped the price, eh? I always get fish and chips whenever I go to Brown's over there, but pissed me off that they upped the price. And then when the lady brings the plate, I'm like, well, where's the fish? Like normally you get two kind of big dollops. It was like 1.25. And I was like, so I said, and I don't normally bitch, but I said to the lady, I was like, what's this? I was like, 1.25 piece of fish. You guys up the price and I get less fish. I mean, I've watched it go from when I used to buy it from the same place, like $18. Now it's at 27. And it just pisses me off that I got, not only am I paying more, but I was getting less. And I'm like, yeah, last time I get fish and chips from you guys again. But anyways, other than that, whatever, right? Still a good dinner. Went and got some ice cream after for later. And other than that, doing pretty good. Just like I said, just trying to get over this. Well, it just started really, but anyways, still hope you guys all had a great Valentine's Day or if you were lonely and didn't, I hope you said happy Valentine's Day to yourself. Now I do need to get my Streamlabs up here. So bear with me for 1 second here. Dashboard. And if you guys haven't hit that like and the share, please do. It's always important for the murdered and the missing. It's that simple. Where's my cloud bot? Well, it says it's on, but let me turn it off because sometimes it glitches. And then let me turn it back on again and see whatever. Let me just see if, I don't think it went going, did it? Hey, Miss Dog Lover, Shannon, Little Black Bear. How are you guys? Let me see. Come on, Streamlabs, kick on in. Don't give me attitude today. Hi, Belinda believes. If it was a robbery gone wrong, Miss Dog Lover, why would they take her? Why not just tie her up? Well, to be honest with you, there you are, Streamlabs. A little bit late to the show, but thank you for joining us today. Don't forget, you guys, with Streamlabs, it's punctuation, eh? And if you don't get that punctuation properly, it's telling you that you're trying to post a link. Now, there's a few things definitely I want to go over today. For sure. I mean, you know what? It is really a wackadoodle case. Hi, Colleen. How are you? Meaning I feel like my emotions in like 2 weeks have been taken like on this massive roller coaster of, oh my God, the freaking FBI and that SWAT team and the bomb squad team, like they're all rolling out. And Oh, sorry about that, Carlos. He didn't have anything to do with it. Then we get our emotions taken high. Was it, what day was it on? Friday or something? And then all of a sudden, raids coming in. Everyone's sitting at the wrong address. Brian Entin sitting at the right address inside the, you know, scene in a sense. And some mom and, some son or whatever, kind of like the first, right? Because it was a mom and a son, and then the girlfriend or whatever. And well, it was the son-in-law, but living at the mom's. And then this one is like a mom and a son and stuff like that. First, we're hearing 3 detained, and we see this Range Rover. Next thing who knows if it might still come back, but it's like kind of like, oops, there we go again. I feel like that Britney Spears, like, whoops, we did it again. Did you fucked with our minds, but anyways, so I yeah, you know what, if they could just remove those ransom letters out of the whole picture, which is somewhat what I'm kind of trying to do, but yet we don't really know if they're involved. And then you got Sapsucker 1, asking for 6 million, Sapsucker 2 trying to get freaking partial Bitcoin. The only thing that even gives me a little hope with that one is the fact that, and it just could be bullshit and maybe I'm naive here, but it's for the fact that little, leech pod number 2 says, I won't cash it until you make an arrest. And then I want the rest of the 50K, So I don't know why, but I keep always feeling like, you know what, just pay it. What can you lose? I mean, 50K? I mean, obviously the FBI knows a lot more, but just outwardly, I'm just thinking, just pay it. Come on now. He says he's not going to cash until he gives like the, proof up. And, you know, in the scheme of things, what's 50K to 6 million doling out, to be honest with you, if it actually truly is the lead? Oh. Okay. So share screen. Nope, not share screen yet. We're going to go over, like I said, a bunch of different stuff here. But at the end of the day, don't forget to hit the like and share. Nancy Guthrie, for the family, Savannah Guthrie, and the family. Oh, and by the way, I just don't, I'm not feeling the tomato vibes anymore. I'm just not feeling, I mean, it could come back. I feel myself in this case. It's more something to, like, my opinion, because there's so many opinions out there and who knows which one could be correct here. But I just kind of get the feeling that whether maybe it was at her birthday, or something, 4 days before. I heard somebody say this, so I don't want to feel like I'm saying this on my own, because I heard that because her birthday was 4 days before. But the one thing that I keep thinking is, was it somebody that knows Nancy that basically was like, hey, this chick has a lot of shit in her place and blah, 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 or something. Like, I just feel like it was like, doofus at the doorbell there. I just feel like he didn't know her place per se, but he knows of her because he's part of the, like this invasion or whatever you want to call it. But I feel like it's somebody that knows Nancy, and I feel like this person myself is Latino. By the way, that's just my personal opinion. What was I just going to do? Image file. Let's just see here. I asked AI to do a couple of things. So I'll put this picture up. I asked it to create a picture without the mask on, and it did. I just don't feel comfortable showing it in case it looks like somebody that AI created, and next thing you know, a bunch of tips go in and it's not even the dude, so, but I feel comfortable asking AI to kind of put it in color. Yeah, okay, I don't got the glove or gun in front of the crotch like every person. I have never seen that, like, myself personally. I've like, out of all the shows, all the movies, all anything, all the cases. Can't say that I've ever seen anyone stick a gun in front of their crotch area. Some people might say in front of their VJ. I still believe it's a male myself. Mm, want to thank you. Thank you, Miss Doglover.
Dog Lover 1644 Super Chat. £4 and 99 pence. You're awesome. Thank you. It's that whole thing I think about not negotiating with terrorists. If you pay, it encourages others to do the same.
Yeah, true. And no proof of life. Kiss my every freaking hair. If I had hair on my ass, which I probably do, but somewhere. But I would not pay that without proof of life. Absolutely not. I don't know. I just, I don't know if these ransom notes are even involved whatsoever, or if Sapsucker 1 and Sapsucker 2, just con artists that, know how to use the dark web, know how to use the VPNs and encrypt themselves, or Bitcoins and all that stuff. I don't know if it's just that one of those things where a situation happened, and kind of like what we see happen on GoFundMe's, instantly these scammers start asking for money for these families that have nothing to do with it. So I don't know if that's the situation, but I kind of agree. Like, what kind of bugs me about that a little bit is that um Harvey Levin from TMZ keeps going, and they were keen about ransom note number 1. And they were so keen, and I'm like, well, unless we're like left in the dark, where's ransom note number 3 from those guys asking for 8 million for not paying out the 6 million since they upped it from the 4 million? Like, we haven't seen Savannah, as far as I know, do any pleas or posts or something like that. So when Harvey says they're so keen on this one, I'm like, are they, Harvey? Are they? I think it. I think it's a black. A black what? Black. A black man. I have no time for TMZ. Well, like I said, a couple. You know what? Let's start off with, first of all, beautiful grandmother to the children and stuff like that. Um, her daughters, her son, um, just want their mother back. I don't blame Savannah Guthrie for probably not going back to the Today Show. And when I play that clip, obviously, I think most people can understand why, that probably is going to happen, and maybe it, will, maybe it won't. Um, Now, what's that one? Let's see here. I got my tabs up. Okay, let's let me just play this one, because again, big hugs to the family that just want answers, and during this, what seems to be a little bit of a bumbling, a little bit of a shit show, kind of, but I blame that on Nanos, dude, in a sense. No, I definitely do. You should just let FBI take over and sit the fuck down, to be honest with ya. Him and his like bullshit double talking, and we in the FBI get along just fine and blah blah blah. Shut up. No, you don't. Bullshit. On that one. Oh, remember, this channel, sorry guys, I'm just a call it like you see it type of person. Just my personal opinion on my channel. Doesn't mean it's yours. You guys can have your own opinions. Just be respectful if you're in here, just to others, right? Because at the end of the day, we all are entitled to our own opinions, but we still have to be nice to each other, at least somewhat anyway. But so let me play that. Share screen. Nancy. There. This is to do with Savannah, this part 1. Okay, is it?
Froelich has closely tracked this case. Sources are telling her now that Savannah Guthrie may not return to the Today Show after her mom was apparently kidnapped. Of course, this has been an extremely traumatizing experience for Savannah and her siblings.
Thank
Her
you,
mom was
Loretta, for
taken in the middle of the night.
subscribing.
The ransom notes being sent demanding millions very publicly. And weeks later, still no word on where their mom could be tonight, even though the family assures the kidnappers that they will pay their demands. For more, we are now joined by Paula Froelich. Paula, appreciate you taking the time on a Saturday night. And I understand your sources are saying that Savannah just may not be returning to the Today Show after this. I think all of us can understand that. Savannah reportedly saying that she feels like her mom was targeted because of her, realizing that her husbands, her kids, her siblings could become targets as well. What more can you tell us about this report and overall how Savannah is doing now?
I mean, Savannah's a mess, obviously. We've seen it. We all empathize. And, as you said, people would get it if she needed a very long break. First of all, we don't even know where her mother is. We don't know if she's alive. We're all hoping she is. But life for Savannah is very different right now. And it's going to be different going forward. She has to worry about not just her mother, she has to worry about her sister, her brother, her two children, and her husband, because this is the unimaginable horror of what she's looking at. And going forward, there will be security for everybody at all times, because this absolutely came out of the blue. And I think she's really concerned that it was because of her job. There was that Today Show where they did the at home with, and she took viewers to Tucson. She's introduced viewers to her mom before. And people with bad characters could easily look at something like that and say, oh, this is an elderly woman who lives alone. Okay, we're going to take advantage of that. And it's just, I don't think she can function right now very well.
Of course not. And we still don't know a motive here. Do you believe that there is more behind the scenes that the public does not know about why exactly Nancy could have been targeted and kidnapped here?
I think there's always more than the public knows, because, of course, the police and the FBI need to keep things very close to the vest. However, there are things, again, leading back to the at home with, and people seeing this. And people also understand, Savannah is very high profile and her salary is in the millions. This has been printed before. So unfortunately, people say, oh, yes, this is an easy mark.
Yeah, and tell me more about the at home with segment and her inclusion, for all of the viewers who watch the Today Show. Were there enough identifying characteristics there where someone would have been able to piece together where this home is, the address of it, information? As you say, there are opportunistic people out there.
Unfortunately, AI and Google are very good. Most people can find out the address of almost anyone in this day and age, unless the house is bought by an LLC or a private company, which most people don't do. So it's actually very easy. And looking at this video of her with the at home, it's very easy to look at someone and say, okay, she's not going to be well guarded. I can find out where she lives and everything about her in, I don't know, 10 hot seconds.
I hear it.
It's terrifying.
It is. It is terrifying. I really appreciate you coming on and talking about this tonight. Paula Froelich, thank you so much. Good to see you.
Thank you, and happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's.
How was yesterday? So, I mean, everyone can understand if Savannah takes a very lengthy time off, if not permanent, especially if she feels like, like that there's something about her and her success on the Today Show and money and stuff like that has any part of it. I mean, everyone that's ever talked about Savannah has all of them keep saying just what a beautiful soul, beautiful heart, just one of the sweetest persons you'd ever want to meet and stuff like that. So I'm sure that Savannah is probably, obviously, right, taking it very hard, but how some people can kind of, depends on really your personality and stuff, but some people can still feel the same way, but show it a different way. But it wouldn't shock me, depending on how this case turns out, of course. But but obviously to be worried about her other sister and her brother and stuff, and because this is going to be about money. This is 100,000% going to be about money. I don't see it being about revenge. I mean, it could be, but everything's usually based around money when it comes to stuff like this. Okay, now, oh yeah, I got to go back to this. That one last cupcake, don't eat me. I'd eat you in a second, except for with that face on it. Prob not, to be honest with you. But as soon as I seen that name, I don't know. You tickled my tongue. Now I want a cupcake. Anyways, welcome you guys. Please hit the like and the share. Always do it for the murdered and the missing. Now, before we get started into any more of these, so this is a case out of Nova Scotia, Canada. This is Jack and Lily. Jack and Lily disappeared on May 2nd of 2025. And bills to pay.
And Miss Doglover 1644 Super Chat. £9 and 99 pence. You're awesome.
Thanks, Miss
Thank you.
Doglover.
Are people seriously criticizing you for not being at work? That's insane. They have clearly never been through trauma.
Well, I hope nobody's criticizing that in this chat, but I think it's just the fact of like I said, that video clip that we just played is, the fact of she doesn't know if she's returning to work, probably, probably unlikely at this point. It's always, it will always, for people that make money and get success because they're decent human beings in life, and then they rise because of that stuff. It becomes about priorities. What's the most important thing to you? Is it family or money? And for some people, they don't give a shit about their family and they want the money. But, to me, this is about priorities. And to me, I'm sure Savannah is that person that has her priorities and her ducks in a row, right? Doesn't mean she'll disappear if she doesn't go back to the Today Show, but she's likely to do something different, perhaps. Who knows? All I can say is prayers. Prayers for Savannah, prayers for Nancy, prayers for the family members that are just torn apart right now. It's horrible. Like, it's not happening to me, but like I said, being a deep empath, you feel the pain of these people. And that's what hurts so much. And Jack and Lily, to see these beautiful children, thanks, Miss Doglover, but to see these beautiful children that under suspicious circumstances, right? Like, if you guys don't know the case, really, you want to see another jerk off type of case, then follow Jack and Lily Sullivan. May 2nd of 2025. We're at basically the 9.5 month mark, right? Stepdad, to me, narcissistic as they come, full of shit, full of himself. The mother, she leaves the next day and takes off and kind of goes into hiding. Whenever people aren't telling the truth, it's because they're the ones that know, right? So this is a matter of time, right? Time and evidence. And so same with Sebastian Rogers. Sebastian Rogers, you guys should know, if you don't know, out of Tennessee there, Hendersonville. And Sebastian Windrake Rogers, he has been missing for almost 2 years. 10 more days from now, Sebastian Rogers was 15 at the time of his disappearance. It will be 2 years. And again, one of those puzzling, you know what? I'll call each of these cases so far. I'm obviously targeted myself, without realizing it, that any case that's a puzzle, those are the ones that truly intrigue me, because it's one of those ones that you feel and you know that something's off, right? And then, like a normal case, it kind of comes, answers come quickly. But then there's these cases that you can just tell within a few days they're just weird, they're strange, and same with Nancy Guthrie's case, weird, strange. We're taken for like a hula hoop ride basically on this. But Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, again, um, you know, another intriguing case. You got the mom, you got the stepdaddy, and you got Seth Rogers. If you guys ever see Seth Rogers in this chat, because he does pop in, and I haven't covered Sebastian Rogers in quite a while since Jack and Lily's case, but I never forget about him. We bring him up all the time. So if you ever see Seth Rogers, that's the biological dad of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, who's been just trying to understand what happened to his boy. A child just does not disappear from his home in the middle of the night. And again, you know, mystery surrounds it. So just wanted to make you aware of Sebastian's case if you're not aware of it. Again, these very intriguing cases, but yet very sad, because these are human beings. These are family members, whatever, that are all just wanting answers. And when you don't have answers, that's the hardest thing. 2 children missing, Jack and Lily. Where's Jack and Lily? Daniel, Malaya, where's Jack and Lily? You know, it's just heartbreaking. I can't even begin to explain how much I feel so bad when someone like Belinda, you know, who is the grandmother of Jack and Lily, she's the bio grandmother that's spoken on my channel many times, and we're very close as friends. I love Belinda very much, and her daughter, I always want to say it. I want to say Chelsea. And it's just heartbreaking to know that every day people wake up and they have no clue what happened to a loved one. It has got to be the most soulless feeling ever, empty feeling, to wake up and wonder, are they dead? Are they alive? Without any answers. You just don't know. So most people always want to remain hopeful that, well, there's nothing to prove that they're dead, and there's nothing to prove that they're alive. But you're more apt, for sure, as a family member, to want to believe, you know, that they're alive. But for people to go through this torture, for me, it's just unthinkable. So that's why I say always, the murdered and the missing are what matter the most. It's not this channel. What the channel does is just try to bring awareness to cases, talk about cases, but it's for the people of the missing and the murdered, that when true crime community covers and news covers these cases, it brings awareness, spreads awareness, keeps the stories out there. Okay, now Joe, Jojo, you said that Pima County and FBI are getting along. But you know, so if you guys don't know who Plunder is a great lady in true crime community. She's like a reporter in herself, right? She does great work. So I'm going to play Plunder's clip that she put out the other day. Where are you, Plunder? Where are you, my Plunder? Did I take you down? Oh, no, there you are. Okay. So I want you to listen to this if you haven't listened to this from the other night.
4 or first, maybe Long River, somewhere around there. I see there's enough performance. 10 before they lost the target vehicle, and survey wasn't overhead yet, so they're still pinging it, but they lost the visual on it, so we're setting up bullseyes to see if we can find it coming back to the house. If you do pull a traffic stop on it, the plan is to, if it takes off, you're going to hit the PD for the fight. We're going to book away, especially if the survey's overhead.
True crime.
If survey is not overhead, follow for as long as you can safely so we can get to the overhead. It's a 2017 Range Rover Sport. It's a greenish blue-gray in color. Copy temp tag. So I guess for the last resort, you guys stage right there for the entrance to his neighborhood and stop him there, I guess, if we don't get any stop on them before. Right, they reacquired the vehicle. Everyone, get back to your positions for the warrant. Oh, you got some CID guys coming up to the house right now. Yeah, they're with us, but I'll give you the go ahead when CID can come up and we can do a walkthrough. So just stand by for now. All right, anyone on the patrol side that's blocking roads, there are going to be people coming through now, and they're good to go. We are expecting some FBI vehicles to be coming in. What about opening some of the other neighborhood roads up to neighbors or anybody? I just say stand by for now. So, three about vehicles coming through. FBI on the way. FBI.
Audio.
After seeing your little scheming operation today, counter surveillance would surprise me.
Joe. Want to take that back? Because on the scanner audio, right? And it's on, well, it's on Plunder. She has like, you know, like the scanner audio, whatever it's called again. But anyways, so FBI on the way. After seeing their little scheming operation today, counter surveillance wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, that sounds like they get along beautifully. You know? No, okay? There's always that bullshit going on in the background. But guy got busted for saying that on the scanner. But anyway, so just after Nanos, you know, little nano there, started being like, yeah, no, you know, I mean, it's all wrong. We all, you know, get along just fine. Now, I don't know, right? We don't fully know, but come on now. FBI on the way after seeing their little scheming operation today. Counter surveillance wouldn't surprise me. Like, yeah, it's not all roses like it seems. And I think Nano, he's projecting some bullshit to us out there, but you know, whatever. As long as the job gets done, that they find Nancy Guthrie, and that's what matters. I'm gonna stop it there. I will drop Plunder's channel. Let me just make this smaller. And well, you know, it's her latest video anyway. So we'll just go to Plunder. Gotta love Plunder. Her name is Paula. Copy, paste. Paula Mooney, I believe it is. Why am I forgetting her last name? I think it's Paula Mooney. But anyways, so yeah, Paula Plunder does a great job. She does hard work. She does good work. Again, media and you know, reporting and that stuff, you know, that's her forte. That's what she does, right? But she does a really, really good job at it. So anyways, if you don't know Plunder, go over there. You can listen to that full audio. But I was just wanting to point that out because it came out basically right after Nano Dude was sitting there like, yeah, we're just all Skittles and rainbows over here. Nothing to see. You know, I just said, hey, you know, might as well send the glove to Florida, you know, type of thing. And so apparently the glove is in Quantico. Is that what it's called? Quantico. And they're going to stick it into CODIS. And obviously, if they get some sort of, you know, don't get someone in CODIS, then I know that they'll definitely turn it over, you know, to the GG and have that for, you know, just like they did in the Brian Kohberger case, and that advanced genealogy where it can trace back your family, then right back to you. But for the glove. All right, the glove. Actually, let's just watch this one next. Actually, the title of this next clip is. Should we watch this one next? Pima County Sheriff ripped as questions grow over Guthrie search. Yeah, he can stroke. Nano can stroke himself all he wants. But you know what? Doesn't seem like people think too highly of him. I'll tell you that much. We've heard plenty of homicide detectives that have spoken not too kindly of him, saying that he's an arrogant, dictating leadership type of man. He doesn't let people, grow, because it's more like a freaking Hitler type shit going on, it sounds like. Share screen. Okay. So we'll play this one out.
News Radio. Horace Cooper, Project 21 chairman. Leslie Marshall, Democratic strategist. And Josh Kraushaar, editor-in-chief of the Jewish Insider. Welcome to all of you. This seems to be one of those things we can't stop talking about.
Thank you, Shannon.
Leslie, what's your take on
familial
where we are in
DNA?
this?
Thank you.
Nowhere. I mean, sadly, we were just talking about this in the green room.
What isn't this
What
sound?
happens in the green room
Hold on.
stays in the green room, but I'm
So
gonna,
loud.
spill some of it. I personally, and look, this is just my opinion. I have always felt that this was not a kidnapping for ransom. I don't believe in any of these ransom notes. Sorry, TMZ, stop reading them. It legitimizes the fakeness of it if that's the situation. I do think it might have been a robbery gone bad. I think that the guy on the video, we were just talking, I think somebody knows him. Please help, the authorities. And I also think he looks very amateur, going over and getting flowers and covering the Ring camera. It's a very dark area. All of the reporters have been saying that. Our reporters have been saying that. There's no street lights. So I just think this might have been a robbery gone bad.
Well, and Horst, there was some talk of whether local and feds were working together, but the local sheriff keeps saying, like, from day one, I've asked for and used their help. It's not a turf war.
This sheriff brings to mind the book Amateur Hour. I mean, this is a guy who appears not to understand some of the basic law enforcement responsibilities. You close the property down, no one can access it. You open it back up, and then you find people accessing. Apparently, it's pool cleaning day, and you just cross over the yellow tape and come in.
Pool cleaning day.
This is not the
It's
way
ridiculous.
that you make sure that you lock down. And so when the sheriff tells me that he believes that everything is great between him and the FBI, I say balderdash.
Well, and Josh had included a pizza apparently being ordered to the property and walked right up to the door.
Yeah, there's been a lot of evidence, the video footage being the most significant, but I do get the sense, as Horace does, that there's been something of a Keystone Cops element to this case. I've been
And that was brought up again yesterday. JLR was like, that was damn good pizza too. Apparently one of his subscribers ordered it, but yeah, just to have somebody be able to walk up like that. Oh, which reminds me quickly, when I was watching JLR, all of a sudden this guy is like going, hey, and I'm like, wait a second, I know that guy. That's Andy from Popcorn Planet. Apparently he was there and bumped into JLR, and I saw it. And then I started watching Andy on his show, Popcorn Planet, because Andy's obviously recording then JLR, and he was asked to do a little bit of a news bit for CNN, and JLR was, but JLR, he's not really into, like, he might talk to the media, but he's not too much into speaking with like the media too much. He always kind of does his own thing, but anyways, so I was kind of just flipping back, but anyways, it was nice to see Andy down there. I guess his family lives there, and if you don't know who Popcorn Planet is, he did the Johnny Depp case and stuff like that, but he does like more like celebrity stuff now, but because I think his family is mom and that dad and that live down in Tucson, and so he was out there yesterday with his family. So if you don't, again, all you have to do is type in Popcorn Planet, and that's Andy. So I thought that was kind of, cool just to see, like, hey, wait a second. Andy from Popcorn Planet sitting there on the scene. JLR, hello? Anyways, yeah, JLR and Popcorn Planet together. And let's see here. We'll
watching a lot of the briefings from the Pima County Sheriff, and it just feels like we're not getting a whole lot of information. There's not been a whole lot of transparency, or maybe they just don't have the information to share, but it's been 2 weeks. And these days with the technology, the DNA testing, you expect a more immediate follow through on a lot of the tips that are coming in. Now, this has been such a nationally closely watched case. It's difficult, no doubt, but boy, it's very slow progress for something this significant. And there is a lot of evidence from that video and from the DNA.
Yeah, it's got to be absolutely crushing for her family as every day ticks by. But is there the possibility that there is a lot happening that we don't know about behind the scenes?
That has to be the hope and the prayer. It's a nightmare for the Guthries. And they said early on that she really needed medication. So as this drags week after week, that obviously is a very concerning detail. I mean, we heard from Alicia's report just there that there hasn't been a major break in the case. I thought that the Ring camera or Nest camera footage would be that, not just still images, but also video of this suspect. Very disturbing and chilling video. And I'm just a little surprised that nothing yet has come of that. They've tried. They've made a few house visits and they've brought people into custody for questioning, but apparently nothing is sticking. The one thing I will quickly add, Shannon, is I've had a bunch of law enforcement experts on the radio over the last couple of weeks talking about this, covering this very closely. And they've said that CSI mentality where Americans are used to saying, oh, well, this leads to this, and then there's a bow on top. It's not always that clean. It's messy. It can take time. People have to be patient. I think that's probably good advice for the general public. It has to be very difficult advice for the Guthries.
Yeah, and we want to make sure that we put there on the screen, if you have information, please, call in and let people know if you have anything that seems even mildly relevant to this. Something that dropped overnight is now from Attorney General Pam Bondi, this letter saying that all of the Epstein files have been released. And she included a letter that said, listen, these are people that are mentioned here may have some connection to him, may have no connection to him. Maybe they were just part of press reports, but these are some of the names from FoxNews.com. More than 300 high-profile names: President Donald Trump, Barack and Michelle Obama, Prince Harry, Bill Gates, Woody Allen, Kim Kardashian, Kurt Cobain, Mark Zuckerberg, Bruce Springsteen. I mean, it seems like now, Horace, if you didn't think you were getting enough now you're getting, maybe some people's thinking, too much by throwing in these names that have no criminal accusations against them.
Yeah, I think this has been far more overblown than was necessary. And there had been this thought by some proponents that there were these secrets, that if we just release them, it would tell us everything. And what it appears to be doing is saying to people who've only had incidental interactions with Mr. Epstein, you are just as much a low-life dog as some of the people that he was regularly partying with. That, to me, is not a good outcome.
Too broad a sweep, Guy? Or too little too late?
Well, I think the fact that we had members of Congress naming people on the House floor who were just, frankly, warm bodies from a police lineup who had nothing to do with this whatsoever, being called powerful people with all this sinister cover-up allegation, that is not a good look. There's a reason why in cases like this, redactions do matter, because you don't want to besmirch innocent people. You want to get the truth. This was evil, but you don't want to ensnare people or throw dirt on people's name for no reason whatsoever. But here we are.
10 seconds, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is why there's a process, and this is not the way justice usually works. You dump emails and let people scuff through them. There are a lot of people who have embarrassing associations. They did nothing illegal.
10 seconds.
Oh, God. Where do I start? There are accusations of rape, of torture, of children. If people are offended because some names are being listed, sorry, we don't need a release. We need an investigation. We need people to be arrested. We need people to go to jail. There are allegedly bodies that have been buried. Justice, we don't have justice for the victims until this is seen through to the end.
All right. Thank you very much, panel. Great to see all of you.
I was talking to myself. I was on mute. What I said was Brian. So sorry about that. So Brian, you said go to 1711. The Nancy Guthrie case. Is that like on a YouTube channel? YouTube title? The house that was raided, he lives there. House 1 or house 2? Which one? Okay. Yeah, I figured it out. I looked up at the screen and it said Mike muted. All right. I have a habit of doing that sometimes when it's because I got a Halls cherry favorite. Google it. Hey dude, I'm doing a live, man. Don't got time. Got time for that. Google it. The Nancy Guthrie. What was it called? The Nancy Guthrie case. What's going to show up there? Are you telling me to Google the Nancy Guthrie case? Nancy Guthrie. Oh, what? See, that didn't pull up shit besides all the Nancy Guthrie stuff. Let's see. Isn't his name Nancy Guthrie? What does this say? The first man? That one? They don't really show. That's just a Facebook thing. Sleuth Intuition. I haven't seen that name since Delphi. I don't know. Miss Dog Lover, you asked for your question. Maybe, honestly. I'm not sure what to make of this case really yet. His eyes are identical. Yeah, maybe I'll look at that later. Unless I come across it during something. Fisherman's friend can kiss my ass. This fisherman's friend sucks ass. It might be work. Still sucks ass. So it's gotta bleh. I'll take hauls any day. Don't get me wrong. I've had fisherman's friends. Hello, I'm gonna try to sit up for a few, but we will see. Okay, Melissa. That's the title of the video. Okay, I'll look in a bit, maybe when I'm playing another video. Okay. Do whole title. You said Google it, so I Googled it. If it was on YouTube, I would have YouTubed it. Nothing. I'll YouTube it in just a bit here. Sleuth Intuition, go to 11:15. That is dude. Oh, let's see. I haven't seen Sleuth in a while since Delphi case. Wait, what's this one? Wait. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Gotta play this first. I want to see what this is. I knew Jennifer Coffindaffer would show up in this case. Okay, let's watch this quickly here, guys. Because this just came out 3 minutes ago.
To discuss this. We have Jennifer Coffindaffer, Mark Reichel on standby here. And this is happening in real time. This was just posted literally moments ago as we're coming on the air. Savannah Guthrie saying roughly, I wanted to come on, and it's been 2 weeks since our mom was taken, and I just wanted to come on and say, we still have hope. And we still believe, and I wanted to say to whoever has her or knows where she is, that it's never too late and you're not lost or alone. And it's never too late to do the right thing. And we are here. We believe, and we believe in the essential goodness of every human being. It is never too late. We actually have it ready to air right now. Let's take a look in her own words.
I wanted to come on and it's been 2 weeks since our mom was taken, and I just wanted to come on and say that we still have hope and we still believe. And I wanted to say to whoever has her or knows where she is, that it's never too late. And you're not lost or alone. And it is never too late to do the right thing. And we are here. We believe. And we believe in the essential goodness of every human being. And it's never too late.
It is one thing to read the transcripts. It really is another thing to see her. And I'm just struck by the humanity of it, how much she has carried and how hard it has been for this family these last 2 weeks. Jennifer, I want to bring you in first here. What does this video, this specific message, these words tell us about where the investigation stands 2 weeks in, where it stands tonight?
Well, first of all, that's gut-wrenching to hear that and to see and hear the emotion in Savannah's voice and in her face. I think this was well constructed again by the behavioral analysis unit, trying to plead to the humanity of whoever might have her, and then also to send the message to Nancy that, she's waiting. And basically, when I hear a message like that, it's much like what we do when we interview individuals we believe are responsible for a violent crime. We try to tell them, listen, we know you're human, and I can hear that message ringing through here.
Wow. I mean, Mark, what are your thoughts here? I mean, this simple statement sort of reiterated throughout this video that it is never too late to do the right thing, appealing directly to the alleged kidnappers, the apparent abductors. What's going through your mind as we see this video?
Well, I'm following somebody who certainly knows what they're talking about, because I agree exactly with what Jennifer said. One thing I might add from doing this forever is that I think this may not be a lone actor, and Jennifer may know this too. The concept is maybe to peel off, if there's 3 of them sitting around and they're involved in this, to maybe get one of them, to touch one of them with this amazingly powerful appeal, that one of them may think, you know what, why am I with these other 2 or this other person? They don't really, it's time to break off. And it may be successful in that manner. That's a thought I would have. I'd be interested in Jennifer's thought.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all.
One second there. Brian, I was just looking at Sleuth's channel there. Okay. Where was I? I think I was here. Okay. So, who is Luke Daly? This is the person right here, I believe, that you're thinking it is. And sorry, my bad. So hold on, let me make that bigger. Well, I'm not gonna lie, he kind of has the legs of the person at the door too, because you could tell that they were kind of wider and then went in on there. But so Luke Daly, he lives at what home? So are you talking about the home with Carlos? Or are you talking about the one that was on 62 whatever 5? The one that was on like Camino del Michael or whatever. Which, no, 1511. What's 1511? 1511 what? 24. No, 1511, the one that is rated. Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm trying to understand. Out of the 2 homes, and the Range Rover is his. Okay, so you're saying that, so the second one that they just did on Friday, that raid, So you're saying that the Range Rover belongs to this Luke Daly person? You know, hey, Brian, look at you there. See your name on the screen? Okay, who? No, that one isn't. The guy at 1511 owns 1511. You see, you're ahead of me, dude, because I have no idea. You talking about time-wise on this video? 1511? Is that what you're talking about? Couldn't be that, right? I mean, that's the vehicle, the Range Rover. Well, the information from that, play what? Well, really, I really can't just do that, Brian, because I don't want to get copyright striked, right? Me and Sleuth used to be friends in Delphi. Then he turned into a jackass, to be honest. So I can't remember what it was anymore. Yeah. Anyway, Delphi was a fucked up case. Are you talking about this though? Hold on. Let me just pull up one second. Image. Are you talking about this? Is that what you kind of wanted me to bring it to? Was that part? I think that's where. Yeah, I think you'd have wanted me to bring it to this part. Who's Zach? No, it's at. I am at 50. You're talking about timestamp, right? Timestamp 50. You're talking about the timestamp. That is Zach. Okay, so this person's name is Zach. That's on the screen. But I'm at the 1511 timestamp. Yeah. So I need you to speak English or clearly to me here. Because I'm at 1511 timestamp. All right. That's where 1511 timestamp right there takes me. It's right there. I see your name right here. What am I looking at here? Let it play for 40 seconds. No, I'm not going to let it play for 40 seconds. 1511. Still the car. This dude here. Is that not the same dude we were just looking at? Yeah. That's where it takes me. That's where it takes me. But that's the same picture that I just put up. Yeah. I agree, Nilla. Tom, wait. No. Hey, I just found your channel and subbed. Hi, Kelly Palmer. How are you? Like, this is like the worst texting I feel ever between me and you going on here, Brian. The guy that's in front of me, is that Luke or Zach? And who the heck is Luke or Zach? Welcome to the live chat, Kelly. So who's in front of me? Oh, I don't know about that, Melissa. I will disagree. That's Luke. Okay, come on, people. You guys. We got Marie saying Zach. Brian saying that's Zach. Who's Luke? Who is? And my camera's going funny for a second. It does look a bit like him. So that's Zach. Zach who? Okay, who's Luke? Gotta fix my camera for a second. It's doing its out of focus shit. 1 second. Boom, 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 boom. Here, let me make this bigger for a sec. It looks like I know it does. Hi, Nancy. Yes, it's Zach. The one I want you all to see. This is the one you want us all to see? Is this one right here? So, Zach lives where? Hi, Carla. What was I doing? Oh, yeah, I was going to fix my camera. Duh. 1 sec. Actually, you know what? Wait. Zach, where does this Zachy guy live? Does he live at the second house that was raided? Does he live at the first house? Okay, my camera's being fucked up. Okay, you guys think about what you've done for a second. You guys figure this shit out, and I'll be right back. All right, I need to go give the toilet a drink. Be right back. I promise. But you guys figure that shit out of who you guys, Zach, Luke, and where does this Zach guy live? Like, don't give me the specific address, but you know. Yeah, I'll have to figure that mess out about Luke and Zach later, but I'd have to give this one a thumbs up. But and I hate to be, you know, I hate to be, this isn't racist, but I do want to say that a lot of Latino men look alike. Like, that's like me trying to usually tell like Chinese apart and stuff like that. Not going to happen, you know? But a lot of them have that similar look. I guess it's just a matter of if there's any correlation to this dude and somebody that knows, perhaps maybe somebody, maybe pool guy, maybe whatever, maybe someone that knows the Guthrie home, type of thing. Well, no, Brian Entin. What basically what they said about that, Shannon, was that it's not to say that that lead is like dead. I don't believe, like, I remember him saying that. Like, it's not like it's like, maybe has nothing to do with it. Like, there still could be a tie-in or something like that. Yeah, it's just, to me, there's so many, Latinos that have that same look that it's easy to think that it's just so easy to think, and I know this from the Delphi case, that something, like with this whole side by side comparison and doing that stuff. Now, the one thing I'll give that mask guy credit for, and that guy that's on the left, if that's Zach, is that they have this like flat head, like, like a frickin', I know he has a balaclava on, a ski mask, as some would say. But yeah, so we don't want to say like that raid was like cleared, because I know that it was said like by Brian Entin in some way, shape, or form that, it's not like it couldn't have value still. Luke Anthony Daly. Who's Luke Anthony Daly, though? See, I have to go take a look. Yeah. So, but the thing is, I mean, like, trust me, I love to do my side by sides and stuff like that, but we can also see shit in all of this. I mean, we see a part of a mustache and a goatee and some eyeballs, does he have the startle alert like ding, Nescam? Does he have a long rap sheet? Okay. I'll take a look at that stuff later, though. Figure out these names you guys all be talking about today. Obviously, it's going around. So stop screen, share screen, share screen, X. Let's go to X for a minute. Okay, that's the one that was just played. So if anyone hasn't seen that yet, that's obviously a new message there from Savannah Guthrie. Now, where's my home page? Where's the stuff that I had posted to myself? Oh, Jennifer's on this one, eh? Official. Hey, we didn't see this one. What do you got to say, Jennifer? Let me hear. Oh, somebody got another Ring doorbell cam? Yeah, that ain't the dude. Yeah. Where's the ones I had? Twitter. Oh, somebody else put out another video too, eh? Yeah, that ain't the dude. Tell you that right now. Home. That one. Oh, here's another one. Here's another one that was out there. Can't even see that. That guy has some sort of bag, man. Like some sort of windbag or. This one's on the 2nd of the February at like 1 or something. Yeah. 106. Well, it just shows you that there's a bunch of creepy crawlers out in this neighborhood within 5 to 7 miles, if not more, closer to Nancy Guthrie's home. But where is... I was just about to play it too. The voice clip. Where are you? Get back down, X. What the hell? Come on. I'm literally hitting the X button. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Turn you off. Okay, but where's the one I forwarded? Yeah, but... Brian Entin. Right. So FBI posted the gloves found approximately... We'll talk about the gloves in a minute. Dang it. I know I shared it with myself. Pete's sakes. Where are you? I was going to play this voice clip. You know, like... It... Not like it has any bearing, but it was the first... Whatever. I can't be asked to mess with you right now, Twitter. All right. Let's see. We'll go to a couple of Brian Entins here. Stop screen. Share screen. Okay, well, we'll play this one about the glove. Okay, we'll play with this one about the signal sniffer.
Guys, so I'm outside Nancy Guthrie's house. It's Saturday night. I wanted to tell you something new that I learned that investigators have been using because it's a technology that I've never heard of before. It's called a signal sniffer, and this is something that I saw last week. The helicopter hovering very, very low over Nancy's house, and then on the sides of Nancy's house, like in her side yard. Let me turn around here a little bit. And I don't know if you guys remember that if you've been following my coverage, but there was one day the helicopter was low. It was staying in one spot for a while, and then it would move to different areas around her house, but low and steady. And I'm told that's because what's known as a signal sniffer was sent in, which is a very, very small box that goes on one of the helicopter skids. And it can actually detect Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker, which is pretty incredible. But it has to stay low and it has to stay still. And it's not a perfected technology. It can also detect other things like AirPods, other items with Bluetooth signals. But it's a tool that they're using, or that they, at least I know that they used last week, which again, I hadn't heard of, which I thought was really interesting. So I wanted to share that with you. And it's been pretty quiet outside the house tonight. There hasn't been much going on in Annie Guthrie's house.
Center for Open and Unsolved Cases. He is live outside of the Pima County Sheriff's Office in Tucson. Morgan, it's great to have you back on the program. You have such great insights, especially because this case seems unsolved. Can I just start from the very beginning here? Because I'm still very confused. This looks like a home invasion, at least on the face of it, gone wrong. Many people think it is. But if it is a home invasion, why would someone go into a house, presumably to burglarize it, something go wrong, and then take the body with them? Why would they not just leave the body there and get the heck out?
Well,
that is one of the toughest questions to answer. When you look at it,
yeah, hold on. I want to tackle that question there, because thank you, nurse, for actually saying that. because I was going to say the same thing, and you just reminded me about it. So y'all know that these people are watching the news, and they're watching everything about themselves on this. So if Nancy has this pacemaker that has this lithium battery that keeps on ticking even if she was dead and stuff like that, right? The pacemaker. That's just, don't you think a little bit? That's just like handing over the cookie jar to the people that had any involvement in Nancy's, like, oh shit, we didn't think about the pacemaker. Hell, let's just, freaking slice and pull that fucker out, drop it somewhere. I agree. Like, I was like, why are you telling us this? I mean, it probably would get out anyway, but I don't know. It just seemed like, why are you telling us this? Like, you're just sitting there. It's like showing how to make a, BOMB type of thing like on a YouTube channel. Well, there you go. That's how to do it. You got a pacemaker. We're going to use the sniffer thing out there, and, they're watching the news, and something that they wouldn't have thought of at all, now they know about. Kind of seems a little counterintuitive, It just doesn't make sense. I just don't get that, right? Yeah, that just doesn't make sense. Anyways, Brian, so much going on in this case to be looked at. Pacemaker sounds like nut sheriff. Melissa says, I said in the days they need to look for a signal to the pacemaker. Can't stay, I'm sick again. But an hour, most have been able to be upright. Okay, Melissa, you be careful. I was going to say you be careful, but no. You take care. And, of course, you're always sick, Missy. You get yourself better. Yes, exactly. It doesn't make any sense. Was it said pacemaker? You have to be within 10-foot radius. I think it was a little bit. I think it was between like 50, like, I don't know. I think, did they say 15 to 30 feet? A lot of people have issues with the sheriff, but so obviously if they're in a helicopter and they're dropping it down, trying to get a signal, and anyways, this thing will tell you more about it anyway. So I'll just continue to play.
I look at it from the eyes through a detective first, say, behaviorally, what does it tell me? Well, the person is very comfortable being where they're at. What does comfort tell you? It's that they don't expect to be caught, that they maybe are familiar with the terrain, or they have a way that they have a way they know to escape the area, exfil from the area quickly. Now, what we don't know, and this is where the importance of the pacemaker is so vital. That's the best unbiased witness we have right now, which is at 2:10 when that pacemaker pinged. Did it show normal heartbeat like she normally has? Did it show she was in distress? Or did the telemetry show there was no heartbeat? And then that gives us an idea based on what happened in the timing. So yeah, to your point, why would it happen? There's most people that when they commit property crimes, you'll see burglaries during the day. They do it because it's low risk for them. They don't want anybody home. We've seen high profile athletes have their homes broken into. Why do they do that? Because they know they're at the Super Bowl or they know they're at a game. In this case, there's a confrontation. We don't know what started the confrontation. And this gets into why the sheriff said there was DNA found inside the house, but it was not blood. So that gets you to lead. Was there a confrontation where the mask was pulled off, the ski mask was pulled off and hair fell down? And that's the foreign DNA that we're looking at. So then you ask, why would they happen? There's one hypothesis is that once she pulled the mask off, she could see him, and he was scared that she would recognize him. And then maybe she was alive when they came out, and that's why they did it. Look, I don't want to get into conspiracy theories, but if you follow the facts and follow the blood trail, we know that the blood came out on the front porch down 2 steps, but the blood stopped at the end. So at some point, we know we're introducing a vehicle into it, and a vehicle introduces a question: is there another person?
So you raise lots of really great questions there about what the pacemaker registered, and we don't know the answers to those, but we can be pretty confident that the police do have the answers to those questions, correct?
Yeah, and that gets back into the helicopter. Actually, when I was flying out here, a friend of mine who's uber smart, Dave Kennedy, you guys have had him on, his trusted sec. Him and I testified in Congress together on healthcare.gov. We were going back and forth. How would we do this? Now, I know that the sheriff's office used a helicopter. We wanted to use a drone. And so David had already created, he's got a prototype working, because you have what's called a high gain amplification antenna on the bottom. A helicopter creates a lot of interference, sometimes electromagnetic interference, but that's why they're flying low to the ground. So the reason you fly low to the ground is that's low power Bluetooth. But if we know, and I'm sure this is why they're doing it with that pacemaker, it has a what's called a MAC address, a machine addressable, but that's the unique identifier for it. It's broadcasting. And so if Dave's already written the software, you can narrow it down to where that's the only signal we're looking for. Wow. And so what you do is you use what's called an omnidirectional antenna to scan a big area. Oh, I have a ping over here, then a directional antenna vectors you in. So that's what they're looking for. The way that the pacemaker communicates with the iPhone, that's the signal they're looking for. And those pacemakers can go for 10, 12 years on that lithium battery.
Have you ever seen a case solved by doing this?
No, not yet. But what's interesting is that the medical industry does this all the time. They look, well, what's our line of sight? What's our communications? They want to know as they design these devices for safety and security, how far out can you go? Well, if I can see you, you can see me. Right. So
I mean, it's new technology.
That's what it's doing with that signal.
I love how you call the pacemaker the witness. It's true.
Yeah, it is true. And actually, you know, when you talk about you haven't seen a case solved yet with this, you know, Bluetooth sniffer, if you will. We have seen recent cases. We were pointing out that the Brian Kohberger case took 47 days to get him. And in that case, it was the cell phone data that was crucial to the case. So our investigators obviously looking still into cell phone data, and can it be coupled with what they may be able to gain with Bluetooth?
Yeah, actually, I've got a team working right now, 2 teams of 2 analysts. We're dumping all the data, but there's 2 things. So there's 2 aspects to this. One's called cell site location information. That's where you're looking at the phone itself, pinging the towers to say, hey, here's where I'm at. This is how they find your calls. This is how they find me in Tucson. But the problem with that is you have to subpoena each carrier individually. There's no nationwide dump. So you have to subpoena each carrier individually. The difference between that and ad tech data, ad tech is your mobile devices on your phone. And they're pinging. How does my phone know I'm in Tucson? Because one of my apps are pinging, giving my information back to advertisers. Well, advertisers on those apps sell it to a data aggregator, which is lawful. Just want everybody to understand it's lawful. When you download an app, you say, yes, I agree to do this. What we're doing now, we can do what the cell site can't do is we can take a dump of an entire area regardless of carrier. And what we do is we look for patterns of activity. So back to your point about, do we see ingress activity? Do we see people staging, which is we found an interesting cluster about a half a mile from where the glove was found on the side of the road. I don't know, I'm not connecting them yet, but it was interesting, which that location is 400 meters from Nancy's home. So we're looking at taking that data, but that's what you can do with ad tech data that you can't do with cell site data, because we don't need a warrant for that. We put it all together, and now we've been crunching. We've now gone back 6 months and dumped a ton of data, which gets into a really big file. But we've got what's called a retrieval augmented generation, the RAG. So we're actually using that inside AI engines to look at human behavior. Is a person walking? So I could tell the difference between if you're walking or in a car. Well, that gets into your point earlier about how would they get out of there, right? So even with Kohberger, he turned off his phone, then turned it back on. That's actually a behavioral clue. That shows also consciousness, but it shows, but it tells me, it tells that absence is also evidence to say, okay, he stopped here, but that's the behavior we're looking for. Which signal came into the area, shut off, waited. We know the time frame. That's why the narrowing the timeline is so important. And then it turned back on. Now we can say, oh, that's a device of interest. Let's track it.
Morgan, this is just absolutely fascinating, and we look forward to digging further into it as the show goes on. Great stuff, Morgan Wright. Thanks, Morgan.
Thanks, Morgan.
Thanks, you.
Thanks, Morgan.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
Did it show?
Okay. So I was trying to Google your question there about if I can track inside and out. I'm just going to go with my own answer. I'm thinking yes. I'm thinking yes, as long as it's within the range. I'm thinking yes. But I was trying to Google it while I was there. So it wasn't a dumb question, because it was like, I just assumed that, yeah, both inside and out. Hence why, you know, to me that they're flying with that sucker. Now, I want to talk about a couple things here. So I think it's dumb to literally say that we got a signal sniffer looking for the pacemaker to give those idiots a heads up of, oops, didn't think about that, but now thank you, news, for putting that out there. Now we are. Because that's whether she's like dead or alive, right? Second thing is the glove. Let's talk about that glove. The glove that was found that is similar, same as the one that here, we'll put him up here. Same one that dumbass was wearing here. So the theories are kind of like, well, there's a car off to the left-hand side of, say, the picture here, because she has a rounded driveway, and that there's, like, say, another person involved, because whatever you would need, two people to, say, lug. If Nancy's body was, obviously alive, well, you could, walk her, I guess, to the vehicle. But what's the chances? What's the chances that a glove 2 miles away, that this guy, maybe he's not the brightest bulb in the world, and he's just gotten away. Like maybe, I think that everyone has their certain ways of being smart. Picking up foliage, dangling it in front of the freaking camera. I think Ashley Banfield thought he was trying to like use it like Vine and rip it off. I don't see that. All I saw was this freaking flailing of foliage in front of a camera, so it kind of deduces to a lot of people like, dude, so you obviously probably didn't know the home, or else you would have known that there was a camera there. It looks like he was avoiding the camera above the roof there, perhaps, because how he came in like this, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, Nest camera at the door. Heaven forbid in this day and time that there's Ring doorbell cameras and Nest cams and all that stuff. So he didn't seem to me like he actually knew the home, as maybe he could have been told about the home by someone that knows Nancy, that passed on that information, that's like, let's hit up this house or whatever. Who knows? But I mean, I think that probably the best that they have at the moment for anything would be this perhaps touch DNA or DNA that was in the home that's not related to, say, the immediate people that are the family or people that work there. But then again, I guess they could compare that, yeah. But so I don't know. It just seems like if there's a vehicle involved, you think that they're driving and Dip Nut here is gonna go, whoo, it goes the glove. Unless he's freaking trying to take them off and one whips out the window and something like that, perhaps. But I think that the most likely connection would I don't think the pacemaker thing is going to do shit, to be honest with you. I think that's like looking for a needle in a haystack. Now, hey, anything to find Nancy Guthrie, will be great. But I'm just talking about what I feel. What do you guys think? JLR was down over at Walmart yesterday there buying the backpack, which we know was like 10 something or whatever it was. The Ozark, we know that the revolver polyester thing was bought at Walmart. We know that the sweater that he's wearing right there was bought at Walmart. Guy, I think, remembered that, but he said took him to the aisle, but they were like a clearance item and there was no more. But anyway, so we can safely say he's a budget shopper for sure. A Walmart type of shopper. But I think that the strongest to me is in the house. I think that DNA, if it comes back to hopefully somebody that shouldn't be in the house, and maybe they're not in CODIS, and if they're not in CODIS, then they'll have to do the familial DNA, which takes time, but they did that in the Brian Koberger case. But what do you guys think is like, if you were betting people, which you are, all of a sudden, if you're not, you now are, what do you think is going to maybe break this case? Do you think it's going to be that glove's going to come back as DNA? Do you think that somehow they're going to do some sort of facial recognition with this whole mask, and they're going to find, like, some place at Walmart one day, this dude buying this stuff? Because you guys know, right, that did he buy it a couple days before Nancy Guthrie? Did he buy it months ago? And it's just stuff he had. But you kind of would think, usually what happens in cases like this is that somebody is going to say, like, hey, like, my cousin's friend owns a jacket like this, and I've seen that knapsack and blah, 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 blah. What do you guys think is going to kind of maybe be that can of worms that opens up, the sniffer, the DNA inside the home, perhaps the gloves, perhaps they'll find him on camera buying some shit, trace that. Like, they're going to get these people. Okay. They will. And it might not happen today, but with all the stuff that they do have, they're going to be able to find it, let alone somebody that can pinpoint, perhaps, yeah, like, that's my friend's friend, something like that. Yeah, they had that little light in his mouth. I think holding that light in his mouth, there would be saliva DNA somewhere there. I also think that they should have sent, well, absolutely, Scotia Leo. Again, right? Talking about an incompetent start to this case of just like, old lady missing. But because the mat became contaminated the minute they released the scene, right? But my thing is always this. When somebody goes, like the children, like when somebody goes missing, you start it off as if it's a crime area, and then you just downgrade, because to sit there and have to go back and then the thing is contaminated, like, he looks like a putz, Nano. You look like a putz, dude. You are a putz, actually. I'm calling you a putz because it's just ridiculous. Like, I can understand going back to a crime scene, but it still should be sealed off. No one should have been able, like, I always remember when Nano was like, well, the minute I heard that there was blood, I knew something was up. Really, dude? So you heard that there was blood, and then all of a sudden, release the scene 30 hours to 40 hours later. And then look, right? You're a donkey, a complete donkey's ass. It's just, I know that it's like, what do people call it? Monday quarterbacking and shit like that. But come on. I mean, isn't it just like 101? And that's what got me about Jack and Lily's case, right? 2 children are missing. They got people traipsing all in and out of the trailer and different shit. Bring dogs in that only are scent dogs. Well, what are they supposed to do? They're trying to get scent, but they're not the type of dogs that you put up a piece of clothing. There are dogs like that, but that's not the kind they brought in. They're air scent dogs. Yeah, well, now you have what, a couple hundred people there trying to help search, and you're trying to look for Jack and Lily's scent amongst all that, you idiots. And that's just what I just don't understand that, because as a regular person listening to it, it's like, how many times over and over again? Sebastian Rogers case, another clear example of, contaminate the whole house. Oh shit. He's not just missing.
And this dog lover 1644 super chat. 4 pounds and 99 pence. You're awesome. Thank you. What about the light colored pants?
Well,
Who sells them?
thank you, Miss Dog Lover. Miss Dog Lover, as for the pants, this all I did was ask AI to put it in color based on a black and white video. They probably are not even that color tone. The jacket we know is black. Knapsack we know is black. The holster obviously is, polyester, urethane or whatever it's called. And had that sticking near the winky there. But as for the pants, it just gave its best interpretation. So we don't know that they're actually that color. It's just trying to give it life in a sense, right? Yeah. But it's so disheartening. Like I said, that mat, right? There's that business card there. Pretty sure I seen it stuck in the thing still, right? And it's just kind of like, I know they went in there with a tent, took some height and measurements, came back out with 5'9" to 5'10". Shocker. Like most guys aren't kind of in that range, to be honest with you. But anyways, remember with Delphi, how badly they fucked up with height? And then you got Richard Allen, who's like a 5'4" nothing burger, and they kept changing the description. Oh my God, you guys don't know of Delphi, nightmare case, nightmare. Okay. You want to talk about incompetence, just think about Delphi. But it's just, the mat. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Should have went in. Possibly. Is that DNA that they have, a drop of saliva? Maybe not. No, I don't think he was wearing sweats. They look like more jeans to me, to be honest with you. I didn't take them as sweats. I'd have to go look back and look, but nah, those are jeans to me. I have to go back and take a look. Yes, Sebastian Rogers, rough look at baby on there. So, just by the way, the poll was, let's see, the black glove, what story will it tell for DNA? 50-50, say 29%, say 50-50, 23% say 100% related to the case. Long shot, but staying positive is 32%, which has the lead. And not likely, nothing burger. Yeah, I think that the glove is definitely high in net. I think that the glove is definitely wishful thinking on that one, just because I'm like, unless that guy freaking was taking the glove off and it whipped out the window. Because, like, you'd have to be even a bigger top-notch idiot to literally throw a glove when you're trying to not show your DNA, and then toss it out like a window. But, then people are saying, well, was he walking? And, it fell out of his pocket. Well, then Nancy Guthrie's body would be in the vicinity because he ain't walking anywhere, taking a freaking, body with him or anything like that. That doesn't make sense. I feel like there's definitely a couple people involved in all this. What about the business card on the front door of Nat's house with elder abuse case? Yeah, well, exactly. What about it? I don't know. It was obviously there before it happened. Well, yeah, I mean, because Brian Entin's video has it in there, and that was 30 hours, whatever, after the crime scene was released, or, right after the crime scene. I don't know about that myself, to be honest, on that one, Brian. I don't understand why they did not take the square tile with his foot. Ask Nanos. Ask Nanos. Right? Ask Nanos. Because maybe there would have been some DNA on that stuff. Doubt they did anything there with that. You know, like, obviously, if he's putting on sneakers, you know, chances are they don't think of everything. So maybe he was putting on sneakers with his hands normally before he was, you know, and then started laying his shit up. So maybe there was, you know, it got put on the tile by maybe not. Yeah, they found 16 different pair of gloves, but there's only the black ones that are the similar ones that were 2 miles away. They said that LE doesn't use black gloves and searchers and that. And that the only glove out of all those 16 was the ones that are the same ones, are the ones that were 2 miles away. So the rest of those 15 gloves can take a walk, to be honest with you. Pretty much is like, why even tell us that, to be honest? 16 gloves were found, but only the one set that's black that was 2 miles away is the only one that's similar. I just can't believe we're on. I know. Doesn't it? That's what gets me, right? Is that day 15, all the freaking intelligence in the world of resources, right? And all this information of he purchased this at Walmart, blah, 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 right? And you know, this they're gonna get this person or these people. You know, they will. But it's just so crazy. Like the whole ransom note from sapsuckers, or whatever, asking for 4 million, then 6 million. Then what? Then did they give up? So when TMZ says that they were keenly interested, I don't know. Harvey, on this one, I'm saying you're showboating on that one a little bit. I don't think they're as keenly interested anymore. I don't think so. Not unless behind the scenes, some other ransom note has appeared where they requested more. I don't know. Not seeing it. Kind of seeing those ransom notes as BS myself. Just sapsuckers trying to reap off of a sad situation. As for the second note guy, that one I'd be willing to shoot craps on, you know? Here's 50,000. You said you're not going to, do anything. But at the end of the day, this is where sometimes the whole bullshit comes in of, like, we're not going to do that. No, type of thing. And maybe the dude truly does have an answer, and he's just trying to pad his pocket instead of, I mean, would you guys trust the FBI if you guys had the tip of paying you out? In all fairness, would you guys trust them to pay you out that $100K? Or you think that somehow, because we see this happen all the time. But would you guys believe that our FBI, if you gave a tip in that helped find that location, do you honestly think the FBI is gonna, here you go, thank you so much? Or, I mean, if you're a shady person, you're gonna do exactly what note teller number 2 saying. You know what? Pay me out this way, even though I still think that he's a dumbass for doing it that way. I don't know. I just feel, I don't know. I wonder if Saturday night was not a nice evening. Yeah, TMZ. I know, because TMZ is kind of like, like your Star, your National Enquirer, in a sense, right? Like, I mean, I've always kind of watched Harvey Levin and TMZ, like not religiously or nothing, but I definitely know who they are. Maybe they like TMZ. That's more of my gut feeling on it all. That they think that they're a channel there that can, put it all out there. It's kind of just a really, sorry guys, I get a yawn. I'm getting tired. I was up at 4:30 this morning, getting ready for work. Then I came home. Me and my husband went out for dinner for the Valentine's we didn't have since I got my flu. Then I still wanted to do a live. I was like, I don't feel like lying in bed again. I just spent 2 days in it, pretty much. Like, seriously. It was like bed, piss, repeat. Bed, piss. Oh, wait, eat. Gotta throw eat in there, too. But that was like my husband. He was like, you want anything? Yeah, could you get me some more juice and ice cubes? Oh, can you get me some pizza pockets? Good husband. But when he was sick, don't get me wrong, I was there with the freaking back massager freaking every day. All that shit. So it's two-way street in this household. Tell you that much. I never get things just for free. There always has to be something. He's off. Okay, what? I want to see what else I got here. Oh, let's watch this one. Never watched this one yet. I remember just before this live, this one had come out. So I want to see what it says.
Zaper. Bernard, what do you make of this report on the glove that was found? Male DNA, that's all they're saying so far. That really could be anybody.
Thanks, nurse. I appreciate you guys being here.
It could be anybody, and I'm actually surprised that this information has been made public. And I'm also very surprised that the scanning for the pacemaker telemetry is made public as well. Regardless, the investigators are not standing by for this DNA results. They have to go back, retrace everything they've done. And it's never a matter of waiting. They always have to be leaning forward into the investigation to see if there's any gaps, anything they can follow up on, and anything that newly matches and things that might have been before disconnected seemingly.
It's also kind of a teaching lesson that maybe if you're searching for somebody in the desert, you don't want to discard your rubber gloves afterwards. I mean, if they found a dozen gloves and they think many of them belong to searchers, that's only complicating the investigation.
Kelly. Appreciate that,
It certainly
Kelly.
just makes it more cumbersome for them. But luckily they found something that was an outlier, and perhaps this is going to be something they need that's going to result in probably expediency in the case. Let's hope for that.
So, that helicopter that's flying with the Bluetooth scanner, you think they should not have released that information. But does it seem like, does it seem like go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just don't see any investigative advantage to doing that. And same with the DNA information, because, if somebody's watching and that's involved in this and they're monitoring news, and now they know that this is taking place, that could cause them to flee and leave a place where they're stationary. So if this was never put out, they wouldn't know that that's happening. And so if they did happen to pick up something, telemetry from a medical device, then they have something to act on. And so, it's not investigatively or tactically advantageous to let the adversary, in this case, whoever abducted or is responsible for the harm to Miss Guthrie, to have that information. I just do not see any purpose to it whatsoever.
The helicopter, it seems like a bit of a stab in the dark to be flying this helicopter over looking for Bluetooth a Bluetooth transmission from her pacemaker. That's a fairly weak signal, isn't it? This helicopter is going to have to be very low. It's going to have to fly that grid pattern. And, who knows whether they're going to be able to pick up anything or not.
I'm confident that the investigative team have spoken to the manufacturer of that device, and they're aware of its capabilities and limitations, so they feel that this is a worthwhile investment of time to do it.
Here's what Morgan Wright had to say. He knows a thing or two about Bluetooth and electronics. Listen to this.
A helicopter creates a lot of interference, sometimes electromagnetic interference, but that's why they're flying low to the ground. So the reason you fly low to the ground is that's low power Bluetooth. But if we know, and I'm sure this is why they're doing it, with that pacemaker, it has what's called a MAC address, a machine addressable, but that's the unique identifier for it.
So worth trying, I guess, but you just think that they should not have let the information out there.
Yeah, I mean, why give advantage to the adversaries? In this case, you have people that are actively trying to probably evade capture. And more importantly, you have a woman who is taken against her will in unknown health condition. And so they need to do everything to be circumspect about the case for them to have the maximum advantage of recovering her.
You've done an awful lot of investigations. Does it surprise you that we're 3 weeks into this one and no solid leads yet, or so it would appear? I mean, if you thought at first that maybe this was a well-planned, well-organized abduction, that would be one thing. But the guy standing on the porch in that creepy video doesn't exactly seem like a top-tier criminal.
There's a lot of investigative resources put at this, and I think they're making the best progress that they can. And although some parts of it seem simple, it's actually overly pretty complex to go from knowing nothing to getting to the point where they're probably at now. Secondly, it's very difficult to speculate when you're on this side of the investigative veil, because we don't know what's really happening and what the investigative team has. So I hear and see, from my opinion, that they're having progress, and we can hold hope that they're fully into this thing for a good outcome.
Yeah, and I don't mean to criticize either. That's not my intention here. But, when the sheriff says, well, it could be this investigation could take a few hours or it could take years, it doesn't exactly, kindle enthusiasm or kindle confidence in people.
I'm sure the investigative team is ignoring all of that type of information or noise, and they're concentrating on the facts at hand and the things that are leading them to give more information that they can act on, because that's what they're really hungry for. They want stuff that's timely, that all of a sudden it bounces off of another piece of information that may have seemed disparate at the time, and then they have something to act on. And so whatever's going on politically in the media or noise or speculation that's happening in the national attention on this, I'm confident the investigative team is hyper-focused on finding her.
All right. Well, let's hope they do. Former ATF Special Agent in Charge, Bernard Zaper.
Okay. Hey, Brian. Just saying. You can just copy and paste it in here, right? Instead of one-lining it all the way down. The toaster oven pops. And before you know it, my food is... That's part of a poem? But the chair might... Yeah, that sounds like shit. Sorry, Annie. Sounds like shit. Okay, I don't like those type of poems. Some people do. I don't. I like poems that rhyme. The nighttime is filled with light. Okay, that's not such a bad line. Yeah, that's what I was just reading, Kelly. And Kelly, thanks for the lovely compliment. Typically, I've been covering Jack and Lily's case. I've been taking a break for the last couple of months and doing only a few lives. Been following this case though since day one, but I kind of one of those ones I don't ride a gravy train, right? Not that people are, but some are obviously. But sometimes I'm the last one to the boat. It's like I'm watching it for a week, and just like Koberger, the Idaho murders there. I could have had that right when it first came out. when it was like no one was, it was just starting to get out there. But no, I waited a week, right? Now the reason why I want to kick myself for that is just like this one a little bit, is because the more subs you have, the more awareness you can bring. Now, some people might think, oh, well, the more subs you have, the more money you can get off of that. And like, you know, the algorithm. Granted, that's true, you can, but it's not my thought process. My thought process is always about, you know, the more subscribers you have, the more people that see your videos, and the more impact you can make for the missing and the murdered. Money has never been my motivation for anything in life, but you know, with hard work and stuff like that, you know, maybe one day it will be a career. But I kind of like to paint too, so maybe I'll incorporate my painting one day with true crime. I don't know. But bottom line is, it's always about the missing and the murdered first and foremost. And don't, like, I mean, I appreciate, I love boots on the ground. But even I, lying in bed being sick for the last couple of days especially, I got tired of looking at JLR's camera still shotting down the road, you know, and he wasn't even around, and then he's gone and whatever. After looking at that for a couple hours, it gets a little bit boring, you know. It's not because I don't appreciate his work, what they're doing, boots on the ground. I do, I absolutely do, but you get what I mean. So I just sit there and, you know, keep scrolling around trying to find some new breaking news in the case and stuff like that. But, you know, always totally do appreciate boots on the ground, because, you know, usually when the news media isn't live or covering, you know, we can still kind of feel like we're part of if something happens, you know, that, you know, JLR is on the move, or, you know, Brian Entin's on the move. You know, Brian Entin there. Seems like such a nice guy. I saw Andy from Popcorn Planet shake his hand yesterday. You could tell he was fanning. Okay. Sounds like shit, Shannon says. You don't like, that wasn't your poem, Brian. I mean, and if you did write that, which you didn't, but if you did, yes, it sucked. Okay? Just saying. Calling a spade. Not into that type of, oh, as I walk over to my refrigerator at night and I see a sparkling water amidst all the juicy fruit that was in the fridge, you know, as I lay my head on my pillow and I drink my sparkling water, the air that's coming through my window. Fuck that shit. No, not into that shit. I like poems. I can write poems, but not that stuff like that. Fuck that. It reminded me of one of my what points not taken. Ooh, somebody's having some typo issues there. Yeah. Like was there like a tomato in the fridge, you know, with a pumpkin face on it? You know, it's that kind of dark shit going on. It's like she needs medication. Maybe. Indeed, not doxing, but would have head towards schizoaffective disorder. just scrolling down comments. Thank you, Sunny, for all you do in the case. It's greatly appreciated. Appreciate that. Appreciate you guys being here, you know, for the right reasons, right? So, you know, smaller channels, at least you can be seen. Sorry, no offense again to GLR, but you go on his channel and it's freaking rolling. I remember, so my husband, I won't say what I was doing exactly, but my husband was holding my iPad, and because I asked him to hold it, because I said, if you want me to snuggie with you, then you need to hold my iPad, type of thing, right? So he's holding it and he's like, the fuck is it with this chat going by so fast? I can't even read anything. Well, I honestly don't know what happened to Magnolia. Obviously, I guess they're no longer a couple or something, because she would control at least, but he just leaves his thing like, I mean, he really should, though, at least put it to slow mode somewhat, you know? It's crazy. You can't, like I said, I don't even try to read the shit. I might catch a couple sentences here and there, but I don't even try to read it because it's annoying. It's just brr, brr, brr. I mean, he's getting some great views and shit. Where was he at? Okay. JLR, like I said, when I first learned of who JLR was, he was like 30K at best, 27 to 30K subs. After Cavalcante, he went to about 160K. Cavalcante, boots on the ground, much appreciated, by the way. And then, he's been doing Storm. And then he started just kind of growing. Nothing, maybe, nothing majorly like, so Cavalcante in this case for JLR, have definitely been his bread and butter in the subs and the donations. So he was growing steadily after that. And then I think he was at like when I looked at him, he was at 464K viewers or subs. And now when I last looked, I think yesterday, he was at like 530K viewers. I mean, bottom line is like he's earning it, right? He doesn't sit there and he doesn't beg for donations. Granted, that man has a past. Okay. You guys can figure out that if you want to, but granted, right? He hasn't lived a, decent human being type of lifestyle. But hopefully he's changed all his ways because now he's making money by doing things legit and stuff. And so, I mean, honestly, good on him, really. It's his drive. It's what he likes to do. So if you're earning money, legit money, doing something you like to do, and you're getting a nice paycheck from YouTube every month and having a trail of followers that like watching his work, I haven't watched him in about 6 months up until I seen he was covering this case because he was doing a bunch of other things. Normally in true crime, a lot of times we were following same cases and that, but then he kind of veered off to the borders and to storm chasing a bit and stuff, different things like that, but when this case came around, again, a huge case. And so a lot of people, you get on that, you would cover that case right away, and he had a nice following at the time. He gets, God, there was this one night, the other night, he had like 94 viewers. I was wondering if he was going to get to 100K. That was the night that about the raid, right? When they went to raid that house. I was wondering if he was going to get to 100K, but yeah, I mean, I love boots on the ground. JLR's boots on the ground. And if I can have that third eye, in a sense, that's watching out there, it just really, it's always nice to have YouTubers that are able to, I'm in Canada, right? So although I cover most of the things in the United States, besides Jack and Lily's case, because that's Canadian, and it's a huge case for Canadians out here. And then we had the Tumbler Ridge, but I don't like covering those type of stories. The Tumbler, I don't like covering like the mass shooting type of ones. I just don't. Not that I'm not thinking and praying about all the people, but I just don't like covering those ones. But anyways, so when I'm doing my Canadian one, I have my red screen around on. But typically it's always the blue one because most of the cases that we cover are American cases. America, you have like all that stuff that when they're talking about it, okay, the easiest place to get information and somebody's address and phone number is in America. All right, that's just, you don't even have to look a gift horse in the mouth to get the information. All you need to do mostly is just have a subscription to Intellius or one of those people finder type things. And boom, my favorite was Intellius. Yeah, I guess it was just my favorite. scared shit out of me. Brian, gifting. He's paying it forward. What is Brian? Who got that? 1 second. My God, I need my thing to catch up because I have to look at it. 1 second. No, I don't want to end. I just want to scroll down. Let's see. Where are you? Did it show? Oh, wait. Brian Rumbles received a gift membership by Brian Ramble. So wait. What the fuck? How the hell did you receive your own gift? What? That's fucked up. You gift, and then you get it. Sunny, do you generally have cases you'll be covering next? Kelly, no. I don't like to cover. I'm not one of those channels, at least at this time, that likes to cover different things. Two most is what I'll do. Because I care about the ones, like, for instance, this is one obviously I care about. Jack and Lily, Sebastian Rogers. I whatever I gravitate to that really feels like that I take an interest in because there's something about it. So I'm not one of those channels that just covers different cases and updates. It's not my style, really. Not at least now, right? I'm working full time type of thing. And when I'm the kind of person that when I sink my, feet into something or shoes into something, I just kind of stick with it, because for me, again, it's not about clicks and views and stuff like that. It's about caring about cases that just gravitate to your heart, but not like the other ones don't. It's just that, again, people do things for whatever reasons. On this channel, me and my friend Charmaine and Melissa and stuff like that, we just are tell it like it is type people. We don't sugarcoat stuff, and I'm definitely not a sugarcoater. I just speak from my heart. Yeah, sometimes I get feisty with dumbasses that try to come in here and be ignorant sometimes, but I don't put up with them. I just block them because I don't have use for those type of people watching the channel. They can go watch drama channels or other things like that. So all I ask is that just people be respectful when they're in here. And so, yeah, so sometimes I get a little bit snippy, but that's only because the ignorance. I just don't tolerate ignorance. This world isn't meant for us to be punching bags to other people. It's meant for us to try to get along, be nice. We're in a true crime space that's about missing and the murdered. The least we can do is act decent to each other. So yeah, so I get pissed in real life, in here. I just don't take online bullshit. You try to be a decent, good person in life and try to help out, when you can. And, here people can just hit the like button, and that helps because you're helping Nancy Guthrie's case keep it into the algorithm. I never do anything for selfish, self-motivating reasons. People can call bullshit on that all they want. Don't give a fuck, to be honest with you. I know who I am. I don't need someone to tell me who I am because I know who I am. And I just think that it's in this world, I just try to, be the I'm not gonna say I'm the best person, but I try to be the best person that I can, caring, and compassionate and stuff like that. Sometimes I do a lot of stuff for people in my lifetime, and it's nice when I see others do it. I mean, I especially loved it when Brian Rambles gifted a membership, and then I go look and see who it was, and he gifted himself. It's not like you can do that, right? It's not like you can choose to do that. You cover what call it, but yeah, absolutely. I just follow my heart. Have you covered? Okay, Summer Wells, Dottie, Doty. Summer Wells, I was there right at the start as well with that case. It turned into a freaking circus act in like a day. It was so disgusting to watch that I ended up just doing a typical thing like I do sometimes, a tribute video for Summer Wells. Then I just was paying attention to the case for quite a while. And then I just wasn't paying attention anymore. So meaning I know about the case, absolutely. Do I know what's going on in it in all these years? Sorry, but my hair's bugging me. There. Okay, that's better. I felt like I had like an alfalfa freaking sprout coming out of there. But anyways, so Summer Wells, definitely prayers for that young child. But it just was too much of a circus. I don't like cases that turn like there's literally adults that are literally messaging a 15-year-old boy, calling him a killer, all these things. Instantly, Don Wells was called a killer by like without anything, right? And it just became a circus very fast. Delphi, another prime example. So when you deal with a case like Delphi, trust me, you're very selective of what you want to follow after that. People are nasty. They're mean. There's YouTube creators that are always talking smack, and that's their daily bread on how they do shit. And I just couldn't be asked. Like, I don't mind cracking a joke at somebody, maybe the odd time, basically fingering a channel if they're a total asshole sometimes. But most part, I don't like drama. Like, I like fun and laughter, but and joking around and maybe making a fun video sometimes, basically to give the channel sometimes like a big fuck you. But I do it in a funny way, type of idea. But mostly I just stay out of that shit. I can't be asked. It's a waste of energy and it's a waste of time. But every now and again, you get a little bit restless and, and sometimes you just do something that you find a little bit comical, just because it's like, something like, what was I called? I've been called a drunk. I've been called a psychic medium. Never claimed that ever. Do I have, intuition? Very good intuition. Yes. There's some people that just really have good gifts for certain things, so I ended up making a video on it. Still makes me crack up to this day, to be honest with you. Still have it. But at the end of the day, this is about a community, a channel or whatever, that you're coming together to try to discuss a case, talk about things. Even if I think that you're totally from the planet Pluto, you still have a right to have your thoughts. Like, because there are some big crackerjacks out there. Trust me, I deal with the crackerjacks at work all the time too, right? It's like, who sits down to write this email? And you're like, really? Like, you're mad because of this? Are you serious? Worst problems in the world, not, but I don't even know what I was going to say after that, to be honest with you. I lost my train of thought there, Kelly. I like that. Those are my people. They're my people. My people can talk to your people. Yes, attacking great poets attack a great poet. They suck. We have great people on this channel. But yeah, I think that's what I was saying, right? Just good people, good mods. I don't have any strict rules on this channel. You can bring up another channel and say, hey, why don't you check this channel out? I don't have these type of things that a lot of channels do. I like just to stay, grounded and none of this egotistical shit going on, but I am who I am. And, the younger Sonny was a very much more passive person, shy person, but through abusive relationships, I ain't taking anybody's shit, right, anymore. So I'm certainly not going to take it in my real life. So the feisty Sonny is because I'm not a punching bag to anybody. I'm not going to let people tell me how to run my channel, take your advice and go run your own channel and stuff like that. Either you want to be here or you don't want to be here. Simple as that. Yes, you all were great. Oh, Brian rambles. Sunny, amen. Preach it. I love it here in this chat. Everyone seems so. Yeah, again, we don't put up with a bunch of idiots and a bunch of people that want to, just troll in and stuff like that. So when people like shit talk me and that, don't care. Always people gonna try to tear you down no matter how nice you are, right, Tinker? Tired of Tinker always teasing me with the bucket of KFC and not buying me one yet. I thought it was hysterical once. Sunny, you're a good person. I'm honored to be here. Well, thank you. Let's see if you say that tomorrow. No, I'm just kidding. Marie. Okay. Sorry, you guys. I'm getting behind here. Hi, Tom. Yes, this is adult content and we need to be respectful with each other and try to be there for each other. Many people need someone. They're alone and we need to be nice to love each other. Again, Jack and Lily. This channel has talked to a lot of family members from this case. Belinda being the main one. And it's just an honor that I was covering the case anyway. And then after a couple weeks, what she said to me was, there was something that I wasn't going to show because we didn't have receipts to back it up. And also this one day she accepted my friend's request. And I don't normally bug too many people and families in the midst of stuff, but by the same token, you also want to offer them a voice if they want to, right? Because the way the world is working, right? YouTube, news outlets, and all that stuff, right? And the YouTube channels give an outlet, a space for victims to come, maybe be heard, or just sit and listen and stuff like that. But, Belinda, she said that the reason why she added me as a friend was because she respected basically that I didn't just put up something to put up something, that I wanted it to be, I wasn't about just to put something up because, right, you have to have some sort of moral ground somewhere about certain stuff, right? And anything you talk about it anyways. So me and Belinda has been on this channel, and this is Jack and Lily. Again, she is the biological grandmother, and through that, we've had a very nice relationship, past the fact of this case, so it's stuff like that I hold near and dear to my heart, because again, it's the impact. I've had many people email me. Sometimes I'll talk about the domestic abuse, right? And it's not because I'm sitting here going, oh, poor Sonny. But no, not poor Sonny. I made choices. I go live by my choices. But what bugs me in this life is when you understand that you love yourself and that your worth is more than abuse, or being in a bad relationship, is your happiness worth staying in a situation? Well, it took me many years. So when people email me and say, Sonny, it was because of stuff that you said that made me leave my whatever. Love it. So my thing is always that if you love yourself enough, if you care about yourself for who you are, and it doesn't matter how much you weigh, doesn't matter what your skin color is, doesn't matter shit. It matters about what person you are inside and what you're willing. Again, you're nobody's punching bag. You weren't put on this world to be anyone's punching bag. So love yourself enough to stay out and treat yourself the way you should be treated, right? I mean, meaning if you're an abusive person, can't you stop you there? Like, like meaning females too, right? But where does that get you in life, being like that? So my thing is always about love, trying to be the best person you can be. And everything I've done in my life has revolved around helping people. Customer service, hospitality. Doesn't matter if I was the general manager of a hotel, right? I don't care about the title name. Great, I get to run it. But what can I do? I can give away free things. I've owned my own businesses. What can I do? Help people out, give them jobs, let them have at the time free sunglasses, free candles, whatever. So it's that stuff that leads me all to stuff like this, is that you're not money motivated by it, at least I'm not, but yet by the same token you want your channel to grow, but I'm pretty lazy at that too, because I could be doing a lot more if I truly wanted to, and you're helping people out in a sense. And so like in Jack and Lily's case, Belinda, give her a voice. She has something to say, you give them a voice, an outlet, because they're the ones that are suffering. I'm not suffering. They're suffering. The missing and the murdered are suffering. Okay, you guys probably think I just preached to you for a little bit. Probably just dropped. No, I'm still sitting about the same 49 people, 50 people. I've been following you since the beginning of Jack and Lily. Yeah. Those children will get justice, Dodie. They will. I'm curious to see, Dodie, what happens on March 2nd. See what if it's going to be indictable offenses or summary offenses and stuff like that. Truth is going to come out. I just wish I wish I could be a psychic that way and be like, I could tell you exactly what happened. I can tell you exactly where they were. It really sucks. Nancy Guthrie. Is she alive? I don't think many people think she is. She could be. But the blood, on the stairway doesn't look good, does it? Kelly, I was thinking of, it's funny because what did I hear? I didn't know this actually. So there's a channel called It's a Crime, and it's Linda. Now, I didn't know this actually until I heard it the other day. And anyways, so when I was watching, I just remember the saying, it's a crying shame. And you always sit there and go, oh my God, that's a crying shame. That happened to the family. And someone was accusing me of stealing her. No, and basically saying, no, I just happened to be sitting there, and I don't even think that I was watching her show, but I know her name was It's a Crime. But I just found out recently that she actually, her channel, I guess, was called It's a Crime and Shame. I had no clue. Maybe that's why. But I was just doing the play on words, and I was just like, oh, that's a crying shame, and then I was like, hey, it's a criming shame. Play on words. It's a criming shame. So yeah, I fell in love with it myself once I said it, but I had no clue that Linda from It's a Crime had actually called her channel It's a Crime and Shame. Up until last week, I heard someone, I think it was Donut from Interview Room, McDonough, say that. Yeah, I think it was him, but I had no clue, to be honest. Thanks, Tom Lou. Okay, you guys are probably tired of listening to me. Wait, then you touch your nose and your hand is red. You talk what? Oh yeah, that's awesome. I love the name of your channel. Thank you. I mean, I do too. I think it's, like I said, a nice play on words, a criming shame. Then it get to where you really have to address. Brian, are you drunk? Just asking for a friend. Are you drunk? You know, I was going to have a drink during dinner today, by the way. I am paying $10.50 for a Bellissimo or whatever it's called. $10.50. Kiss my ass. I could go to that liquor store right there and make that sucker myself, and probably 20 of them, you know, for probably less than $30. Crazy. I'm talking about, oh, the blood. It's my birthday. I hope I get a good present on that day. What day is your birthday? Yeah, peach, nurse. Got it. Is today your birthday, Tom? Tom Lou? Time is it? 2 hours and 20. It's my birthday every day, Tom Lou. Just saying. Get jealous. Da, 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 da. I don't think blood was exiting. You don't think blood was exiting where? So when they showed pictures like on Fox, by the way, the blood, you don't think it was exiting? Heck. Brian, the blood was out in the driveway. They have pictures of it. What, you think that they took her out of the vehicle with blood and brought her inside? No, that wouldn't make sense. You got Doofus there turning the knob, trying to get in. Tinker, if I say blue, you say black. You know that. Perhaps. You know, like when you read messages and they feel like they're cryptic and you're trying to figure them out, but you're kind of lost in the conversation because it's like, say something, enter. And then a couple later, say something, enter. And then you're like, wait, what? Okay, we watched that. Did we watch this one? Yeah, we did. What else we got? Let's see here. 2 hours ago, doorbell, privacy debate. What do you mean sparking privacy debate? Let's watch this one. We're just going to watch anything that pops on our screen here. Share screen. No, Kelly. The name is Zach. I think the name is Zach. Wait, Cinco Club found 2 miles. Okay, 1 hour ago. Just trying to see. Ex-FBI agent says motive. God, I swear to God, Fox News puts out a clip every couple minutes. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Vodka and diet root beer. Lots of ice. Vodka. March 2nd. Okay. Second. What are we watching right now? Oh, we're not watching that. I think it was this one.
For 2 weeks with no arrests in this case and no persons of interest named. The first signs of her disappearance started in the early hours of February 1st. A 911 call was placed around noon Mountain Standard Time, alerting authorities that she was missing. Since then, both local police and the FBI have been involved in the investigation, with Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos saying the search can take from anywhere from hours to years. For more, let's bring in CEO and founder of the National Center for Open and Unsolved Cases and host of Crime Reconstructed podcast, Morgan Wright. Morgan, thanks for being here this morning.
You bet, Jackie. Thank you.
Of course. So this doorbell video of this masked suspect, it surfaced about 10 days into this case. The FBI said they got it through residual data in Google's back-end systems. Local investigators initially thought that no such video existed because Nancy's Nest doorbell camera was disconnected and she did not have an active subscription. Here was what the FBI director said about how they got that.
The FBI is the only one who has the capabilities and the technical discipline to go in there
and assist local law enforcement to get this type of information. And not only were we able to get this type of information, but we were able to exploit information pursuant to our private sector partner engagements that showed us that there might be persons of interest in and around the area related to this event.
So obviously a hugely important development. It prompted this search for the man that is 5'9" or 5'10", medium build. But it also brought Google's privacy agreement into the spotlight. It allows video to be captured when a camera is not on. And if Nancy didn't have a subscription, that video should have theoretically been out of the system within 3 to 6 hours. But what can we take away from all of this about people's expectations of privacy during this digital age?
You know, Jackie, privacy isn't a technology issue. It's a policy issue. Security is how you enforce like privacy things. So what happens is when people download apps, when you get these subscriptions, these agreements are written by lawyers and they tend to be very complex. So you have to read through. But when you read through it, a lot of people were, should people in this day and age be surprised Google, Apple, Amazon, Facebook are collecting information on you? No, because when you agree to use the service, you agree to that. So in that agreement, and I know people talk about privacy, but in that agreement, it says, here's what we do with it. Here's what we could collect. And one of the reasons they collect, even without a subscription, they still will collect information for training purposes, to train their AI, to train their model, to train their algorithms, analytics. So there is this portion of it that's always being captured. That was one of the issues with voice-activated assistants like Alexa and Siri, is listening to that buffer. Where does it go? What do you do with it? So one thing with privacy, it's not a technology. It's enforced by technology, but privacy is one of those things. But
I'll stop that for a second. Kelly, what did you want to ask about that video? Because they were just playing it. What did you want to ask, Kelly? And noisy at that time of night. Night, Tinker. Okay, I'll keep playing it for a second until you ask
most people aren't lawyers and they aren't going to read a 50-page document.
Yeah, or realize when they download an app, they're agreeing to all of the terms, basically.
Okay, let's see. When the guy walks up to the door, it does not look like he is about to knock. When the guy walks up to the door, does not look like he's about to knock, but changes his mind and fiddles with the Nest camera instead. I don't think he was definitely gonna knock. I don't think so. I never ever felt like he was gonna knock, because there's that that bar thing in front of it and stuff like that. Maybe, but I don't know. I just felt like he was going to. Maybe. But the thing is that wouldn't make sense to knock. The reason why that wouldn't make sense to knock is because of the gating on the door. And then there's the door. So she ain't going to be opening up that door for him as soon as she sees him. I just take it as he was going to go check the handle myself. And then it's like, oh shit, there's an S-cam right here. I mean, I don't think I ever felt like he was going to knock, but
most people aren't lawyers and they aren't going to read a 50-page with voice-activated model to train their algorithms and collect information for terms they collect. And I know people talk about privacy, but in that agreement it says, here's what we do with it, here's what we could collect. And one of the reasons they collect, even without a subscription, they still will collect.
I think that's kind of what you're talking about.
And one of the reasons they collect, even to use the service, you agree to that. So in that agreement, and I know people talk about privacy, but in that agreement, it says, here's what we do with it, here's what we could collect. And one of the reasons they collect, even without a subscription, they still will collect information for training purposes to train.
I get what you're saying. Does anyone feel like he was going to knock? I mean, I get what you're saying there, right? Because he's over here, his hand comes up, and then it kind of moves over to the Nest cam. I mean, you could be absolutely right. I never looked at it that way. I mean, I've seen it, but then I'm thinking, I'm in my head, I'm thinking like, why would Doofus knock? Well, I mean, if he uses foliage to cover a camera, maybe, idiot there was going to knock and be like, hey, open up your door and your gate for me. But that's the thing, is that the thing that where he puts his hand and turns it, that's for the metal gate part. And it obviously doesn't open, but maybe, I mean, he could. She had a glass by door. She had glass by door. Are you talking about what they said? What might be some glass near the front door, where where that foliage was? Yeah, I don't feel like he was gonna knock. But you know what? I mean, it's one of those things, is that you wonder, because he comes off like he's a kind of like a fumbling idiot. Like, he definitely does not seem like this is his daily dose of what he does all the time or something. Maybe someone paid him to do this, heard about, Nancy Guthrie, maybe heard, like I said, maybe there was something said. Maybe it was at her birthday party. Maybe something was said that kind of lit up somebody's ear, going, hey, safe in the house? Something like that. His knapsack is full. I don't think it's an R kit. Maybe he went in there with the intention of, a tarp. I don't know. It's confusing. It truly is. It's just weird. But you're thinking 15 days later, and Twiddledummer here in front of the camera with the foliage. He's going to, don't get me wrong, this guy is going to get caught. And he's going to get caught because of these mistakes. They think that they're so smart. But, look at Brian Koberger, right? Gets in there, does all that thing. But the thing that sealed the deal for Brian Koberger is because the idiot left a knife sheath under one of the victim's bodies, obviously during adrenaline rush and all that. All of a sudden he's probably like, after he leaves and everything, he's probably like, oh shit. Oh, right. And so they ended up, getting DNA from the garbage of his dad's, and they matched, Brian Koberger. They traced it back to Brian Koberger through the, whatever what's called, genial, whatever it's called, DNA. And there's no getting out of that, man. No getting out of that. And then your vehicle and everything. But DNA, yep. Pretty much fucked if they got any sort of your DNA there that shouldn't be there. But this case is just weird, because we don't know if those ransom notes were truly anything to do with the case or just leeches, So it's taking your head this way, and you're like, how has there not been no arrest yet? With all the technology. Isn't that crazy, eh? And then you see like Doofus here at the door with his foliage. And then you're like, how? How could someone that doesn't even seem to have a clue, in a sense, maybe he does, but maybe that was just a dumb moment that he thought somehow foliage could somehow cover up or help him with the Nest Cam. I don't know. It's just so strange, because the darkness, no, it's not like there's like these neighbor cams because of like the lights. There are cams, but I just mean, kind of reminds me of Jack and Lily's case a little bit there, that you're in an area where there's a few homes around. Obviously there's plenty here, but but by digital things, right? Like to spot a vehicle that kind of came into that area, and then a vehicle saying leave that area, and then they don't have nothing on that, at least not now, because probably lack of cameras, lack of any of that. But doofus is going to get found. They're going to find out who did this, absolutely. And it's either going to be through DNA, genial DNA. You know, I don't know about that glove being found, if it has anything to do with it. If it does, I mean, that's just like a gift from God, if that has any tie into this case. The pacemaker is like a hope in hell of that actually working out. But hey, something's got to. Maybe it's they are finding video footage. They definitely have more footage than this, right? There's a Nest Cam in her home as well. So what else do they have, right? They definitely got more video footage. But what else do they have? All I know is poor Nancy. You know, poor Nancy sitting there when you see blood outside. And an 84-year-old woman that's so sweet looking. But when you see blood, you really have to wonder, is she dead or is she alive? Did she get taken away alive and just had some sort of injury? I know. You know, but I am realistic to know that certain things take time to come back. You know, DNA, genealogy, all those different things take time, a little bit of time to come back, for sure. If there's any relevance to them, if they maybe the unidentified thing in the house maybe leads to nothing. I'm hoping. What do you mean just found my email? My email's right up in the top corner. I sent the direct link now. What? You want me to look at my Gmail? What's Gmail? Crime and Shame? I send you there. Oh, well, it's not there yet if you did. Yes, poor Nancy. Asleep in her bed. And someone comes in your home with a mask. Oh, I see. Okie dokie, Brian. Okay, wait, let me play out this finish. Frickin', I think we were here, but
They aren't going to read a 50-page document.
Yeah, or realize when they download an app, they're agreeing to all of the terms, basically. You know, during the Super Bowl, Amazon ran a commercial for its Ring doorbell cameras. It was meant to tell this heartwarming story about a lost dog being reunited with its family, but it ended up creeping out a lot of people. Here was that ad.
Pets are family. But every year, 10 million go missing. And the way we look for them hasn't changed in years. Until now. One post of a dog's photo in the Ring app starts outdoor cameras looking for a match. Search Party from Ring uses AI to help families find lost dogs. Since launch, more than a dog a day has been reunited with their family. Be a hero in your neighborhood with Search Party.
Huge backlash followed that ad. You had Ring severing ties with the firm Flock Safety, which deploys its cameras for license plate readers with law enforcement. back in October, they had announced they would be powering this new feature called Community Requests, which lets people submit their doorbell camera video to law enforcement for investigations. But a lot of folks didn't realize that this had apparently already been used or launched in some way or another. Does this reaction, the public reaction to that ad and the knowledge that this was, in the works, tell you that most people don't realize the extent of their digital footprint or how they are consenting to it being used?
Yeah, Jackie, in the last couple of days, I've been working with a team of analysts. We're getting ad tech data, which is the mobile data off of phones. And I always have to preface it by saying, let me be very clear. What we collect is lawful. It's in the agreement. We're allowed to use this. I think part of that messaging, you got to realize in a commercial, they're trying to get a point across. But I don't want to turn these things into pharmaceutical ads where you've got, 30 seconds of disclaimer and only 5 seconds about the product. But that's really one of the problems. They didn't set the expectation is that this is how we do it. Most of this stuff is opt-in. In other words, unless you opt in, or if you don't read the user agreement that says this is how we do it, then that's the way they collect the video. But a lot of the stuff, like looking for the dogs and stuff, very noble and stuff. But I think they had to make sure people say, this is what we do with your stuff up front. We only use it when you turn it on. We only use it when you say we can use it. That would have gone a long way to tamping down some of this. But what happens is when you don't say that, people, then a narrative gets out there, just like in the Guthrie case. The narrative gets out there, pretty soon the narrative becomes that's the way it is, as opposed to what the facts are. And the facts are, it's in the agreement. They say they can do it. But in reality, most people, like I say, I'm not a lawyer. I read some of this stuff, and sometimes I have to put it into Grok or ChatGPT and says, give me the too long didn't read version. What does this mean? Am I giving away any privacy rights?
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword for sure. And in this case has generated really the only lead in this case. So you can certainly see how it can be helpful, but also kind of make people wonder about what their cameras are doing without their knowledge. All right, Morgan Wright, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily.
Hey, everyone. Okay, that was one. What's this one? Play this one as well. Just kind of seeing ones and then going, I'll play it. Ones that come out. Let's see here. I am getting tired, though. I'm getting tired, Brian. Just saying.
The investigation into Nancy Guthrie's disappearance has now entered its third week, and the case may have caught another break. Hello, everyone. I am Tommy Lahren, along with Joey Jones, Kaylee McGee-White, and Kevin Cork. This is the second hour of the Big Weekend Show. So while authorities still have no suspects or persons of interest, the FBI tells Fox News that it has received preliminary forensic results in the case. Of note, one of the approximately 16 gloves recovered appears to match the gloves of the individual seen on the surveillance video at Guthrie's home the night she disappeared. The FBI says the glove contains a DNA profile, and they are awaiting quality control and confirmation before they put it in their national database. Back with us is Max Gordon, live outside Nancy Guthrie's home in Tucson, Arizona. Max, what's the latest?
Hey, Tommy. Well, this glove could be a significant piece of
hold on.
evidence, but at this.
Okay. Well, I'll leave him like that. Max, I appreciate you're a good-looking journalist, dude. I'm going to stop there for 1 second just to appreciate that every now and again you come across some. You can. Brian Entin, though. Brian Entin. He's munches.
At this point, we simply don't know. The glove was found about 2 miles away on the side of the road, and investigators say that it does look similar to the glove that was worn by the suspect who was caught on surveillance camera outside of Nancy Guthrie's home. The glove was sent to a lab in Florida for testing, and according to the FBI, the preliminary results are now in, and they're waiting on official confirmation before putting the unknown male profile into the FBI's DNA database called CODIS. This process typically takes 24 hours from when the FBI receives DNA. Investigators collected about 16 gloves in various areas near the house. Most of them belonged to searchers and had been discarded while looking for Nancy Guthrie. If the FBI does get a DNA hit, it could help identify the suspect. But the operative word here is could. Here he's seen on Nancy Guthrie's doorbell camera, described as a male between 5'9" and 5'10", with an average build, seen carrying a 25-liter Ozark Trail hiker pack from Walmart. Meanwhile, the search continues. Fox News Digital learned that authorities have been using a high-tech Bluetooth scanner placed on the bottom of law enforcement helicopters to try to detect Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker signal. The helicopter has been seen flying in low, slow grid patterns in an attempt to pick up a signal. Meanwhile, there's been limited investigative work here at Nancy Guthrie's home over the weekend. There's just been one sheriff's deputy parked here, just standing by, guarding the house. But neighbors have been by, dropping off flowers and notes of encouragement. Some folks just stopping by to look at the house as this neighborhood still grapples with what's happened here. Tommy?
Max Gordon, I'm sure a lot of looky-loos. Thank you so much for joining us as always. All right, so TMZ has played a major part in this mystery as they've received multiple notes from an individual who alleges that they know the identity of Guthrie's abductor and her current location. They're reportedly demanding $100,000 as ransom for that information. Joining us now is TMZ executive producer. He's been on the story from the beginning, Harvey Levin. Harvey, we appreciate you taking the time with us tonight. We know you're very involved in all of this. Have you received any more details from this individual? And how certain are you that this person is legit, meaning they actually know the whereabouts, they're not just a scammer?
Well, I can't tell you for sure if it's legit or not because we don't know who it is. I will tell you that the FBI has been definitely interested in these emails, but they are especially interested in the first ransom note that we got and a couple of local stations in Tucson got. They have been in touch with us multiple times about that ransom note. I am puzzled because I know Savannah Guthrie had said that they were prepared to pay. We have been checking the account and the ransom is not in there, but I can tell you the FBI is keenly interested in the ransom note. They are also interested in this demand letter. Actually, we've received 3 of them now from the same individual. But again, nobody has put any money in that account. Like you said, they're asking for $100,000. So far, there's nothing in there.
So on that very first ransom letter that you say the FBI continues to ask questions about, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but it seems like, I guess my question is, have you received any communication from anyone pretending to be or saying they are the same people from the first ransom letter?
No, the only additional communication was sent to one of the local stations in Tucson. We did not receive that second one. They did, and it matches the first. Those are the only 2 communications, at least the only 2 that I know of. But the FBI, as of Friday, was very interested in the note we received. And I'm not going to get into detail, but there.
Yeah, just quickly, to be honest with you, 1 second here. I'll just, if anyone is interested, because I don't know who Luke is, I don't know who Zach is besides a little bit, but Brian's saying so Sleuth Intuition, remember him from Delphi days there, forgot all about him, to be honest with you, up until I saw, or that you had said that or whatever. But anyways, that's Sleuth Intuition's channel there. So if you guys are wanting to know about possibly a Luke or a Zach, then go check it out. How was someone able to? Well, that they weren't, right? I mean, in the mask versus again, I don't know anything about that personal information. Of course, I've heard of him. That's from Delphi days, Brian. sleuth intuition. Yeah, Delphi days was many years. Yeah, you know what? I'll just say this. Me and him were good friends. And I remember I was doing a live and I had information, and I just remember it was like getting stabbed in the back. And then he was on a live, and then he was just being really weird, disrespectful, weird. And yeah, it was just weird. So anyways, so it's what I don't remember enough about it, but Sleuth is from Delphi days on there. Delphi was a nasty case to be within. Oh, did you just found? Yeah. I mean, I'm being nice by even recommending his channel on my channel, to be honest, because to me, when somebody does me dirty, I usually don't do shit like that. But you know what? Delphi was a nasty case with a lot of nasty creators throughout it, a lot of just nastiness on there. But I'll throw it up there. I mean, Sleuth is, a good guy all in all, so, but like I said, it's been since Delphi. It's been a couple years pretty much since I've, once they arrested Richard Allen, they had their man. I didn't need to watch any appeals and different shit. It was an exhausting case. Exhausting. So when they find, and then out of all the suspects, Richard Allen's name comes out of nowhere. Some clerk lady in the Delphi, paperwork thing or whatever, found Richard Allen's file with Richard Allen. And yeah, Richard Allen, for all those people that are, what I don't understand, and this is where I think this is pretty fucked up world. What you don't understand is when someone actually admits to the crime and then they try to use their lawyers to try to get out of it through some sort of fucking mental fucking health issue shit. Dude, okay? Your dumbass said exactly what the bridge guy was wearing, talked about a white van, but what I don't get, and this is life. When something is clearly right in front of your face, and then there's all these people out there, like the Chris Watts lovers of the world, like, fuck off. Sorry, but when literally Richard Allen tells on himself, right, and confesses, and then through court bullshit, they try to get out of it and stuff. No, sorry, rotten hell. You belong there. You did it. But you got these side, it's almost like having groupies that literally support these people that, and I wonder how, this is where it makes me wonder, how is it that some people get out of bed and are able to walk or chew bubble gum? How were you the strongest sperm, a swimmer in your mom's VJ to even make it to the fucking finish line? Because just the warped thinking out there, I never realized there was so many screwed up individuals until you have real life and real life. And then you come into like the internet and true crime, and you just like, half of you people, like, how did you even survive? How did you swim? I don't get it. What'd you say, nurse? Nurse, that is why I would not send like. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't. I don't care, honestly. yeah, whatever, you know. I just don't like it when people burn their bridge. Once you burn your bridge with me, I'm like done. I'm total cancer. You're done. Right. But I don't have that type of harsh feelings against Sleuth. You know, it's been a few years. So whatever, whatever. Well, I mean, I can get the direct link. I mean, all you have to do is go to his channel and look at is he doing it as lives? I'm probably sure. Who is Luke Daly Part 2? Who? Nance the Nather? Yeah, you're talking about this one. Yeah. If that's what you were meaning, I could have just put that up there myself, to be honest with you. Sorry, could have saved you some time there, but that's the direct link to the Nancy Guthrie case. You know, check it out, right? Could be right, could be wrong. Got anything else better to do? Check it out, right? Kelly, you would think, but that's just not how it works. I mean, you know, Kelly, I think of this time that me and my husband built what we thought was a dream team in the hotel we were running. You know, the cooks, you know, the housekeeping, the restaurant, you know, and you had good people. But even having what you think is the best people, that drama shit still happens. Yeah. You know, you have some toxic people. But in my head, too, you think you have the best people and everyone in their kind of like their right spots and positions. And you realize that no matter how good you think something is, you know, or about YouTubers working together, you know, somebody gets offended by something that another channel's doing, and, you know, and blah, blah, blah. And I just got out of like anything to do with like drama and stuff like that. Now and again, I'll poke a bear. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I'll poke a bear, but I'm doing it just because I feel like doing it, to be honest with you. But it's why I don't truly engage too much, even though I do have a couple good core people that, you know, but anytime there's too many people, someone gets butthurt or this happens or that happens, and I just can't be asked for that type of drama, you know? So yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a wishful thinking to think that it would work that way. You would think, you know, like in a perfect world, sure, but I learned from the start of even getting into true crime that the people and personas that you see, a lot of them are just fake ass shit. And the people that they are behind, you know, are a bunch of selfish, ignorant, self-absorbed, uncaring motherfuckers. Okay. I mean, I knew that right from the start because you thought these people were nice, right? And a lot of them are just money driven, whichever, you know, they're freaking, you know, blessed train. And, you know, I can't help but think of that one Bible guy that always does that, you know, just give me some money. Just keep the train going. Hallelujah. You know, praise the Lord for Nancy Guthrie. You know, just make sure we're trying to get to like 20 donations tonight. Just hop on the train. I hate that shit. You know, but whatever. You know, it's just not my cup of tea personally. You know, even if it's theirs. I don't know. I just kind of more, for the most part, keep to myself in a lot of ways. I go to the beat of my own drum, but I've come across some really nice people. And then I, you know, and some of them have, you know, stab you in the back, you know, two-faced and whatever. And you're like, okay, thanks. Have a good day. I just don't put up with bullshit because it's not supposed to be that way. So the only thing you can really worry about is just what you do, you know, what I do personally, what I do as a channel. If, you know, sometimes I have people tell me like, That's like not like how, because maybe they're a Bible thumper and they think that it's not morally correct on how I did something. Fuck off. Don't care. You're not my moral compass and I'm not yours. So don't tell me where my moral compass should lie, you know, especially when I'm running a channel that's my own, that I created, and I can say whatever I want, but I always try to have a moral compass about it. But it's funny when you offend somebody else's moral compass, you know, that's their own, and they expect you to, you know, do it their way and stuff like that. And I'm just like, really? I tell you what moral compass you should have? You know, I might not agree with people, sometimes people's moral compasses and stuff like that, but who am I to ever tell somebody else how they should think and what they should do, you know? So those ones get me. Then they get offended, you know, then they go to other channels and then they'll be like, that Sunny just booted me because she did, you know, blah, 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 and she was being a bitch. And yeah, I see it all the time. Thank you. No, it's because you were just a jerk off or something in here. I'm not here to play those type of stupid baby games, you know, so get out, go watch somebody else and have a good day. You know, I don't like being told what to do. You know, it kind of reminds me of being in those abusive relationships when they tell you what to do. And if you don't do it, then you get a freaking, you know, smack in the face or thrown in a bathtub and shit like that. So do I have an issue with people trying to tell me what to do? Absolutely. You know, no one can sit there and try to blackmail me with shit. You know, it's kind of, I'm just an open book for the most part, you know? So all these things, when people try to, like, it's pretty crazy what people try to do, you know, to other people behind the scenes and stuff, you know, or what trollers try to do in chat to people. You know, I just find it all despicable and laughable. I go on with my day, live my life. You know, people want to threaten you, slice your throat, you know, but, you know, it gets crazy, Kelly, you know, but I'm not one of those people to back down or have someone tell me what to do. You know, I wasn't born. Like I said, you go through enough stuff. You're just like, shut it. Go away. Go away. Get out of my happy space. The word's supposed to be oft in drive. Wait, what? Starbucks? Swear to God, you've been drinking, dude. I swear to God. Oh crap, Olympic skater. Oh, sorry about that. American skater, whatever his name was, totally, you know, plucked it at the skate, you know, when he fell twice there. Totally had first and then went to eighth, whatever his name was. Yes, that's what happens. You got to get a little bit too cocky. That Team USA Olympics figure skater. Unusual suspect at Starbucks. Really? Oh. Maybe I like you too. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. Just kidding. Oh. So there's some nasty shit going on at the Olympics there. It's crazy. Crazy world. And Harvey, you're not aging well, dude. You always look like you have a cold and are sick all the time. Every time I see him, he reminds me of my one stepdad.
There were significant contacts over it.
Is it possible, or would you have any reason to believe that if you're not hearing back from them, those deadlines pass, but the FBI is still concerned about it? Do you think it's possible at all that the family or FBI are now in direct communication with them and they're not needing to go through the media?
I don't think so, because as of Friday, the FBI was still trying to determine this person's identity. So if the FBI couldn't, then the family hasn't, because the FBI is clearly working with the Guthrie family.
Mm-hmm.
Harvey, yesterday you said that if you were the Guthrie family, you would not pay the ransom. Now, is that because you don't believe that these letters are legitimate? And if that's the case, you know, what's the purpose here in continuing to publicize them?
Yeah, I didn't say that. What somebody had asked me yesterday, why doesn't TMZ just pay the tipster who says for $100,000, I'll tell you who it is. And that would be really inappropriate for us to get involved that way. But I never said that anything about whether the Guthries should or shouldn't pay the money. I said I'm puzzled by it because they said they were ready to and they haven't. But this is clearly all part of law enforcement. I mean, this thing has been very well choreographed by the FBI.
Harvey, Kevin Cork here. I've been following your career for a pretty long time. I've been in the business for a minute as well. I can't recall a circumstance like this. Have you ever seen anything play out in this way? And if you've seen anything remotely like it, what usually happens? Because I'm grasping for straws here, trying to figure out where this investigation will ultimately end up.
Well, look, I mean, if this ransom note that we received is legitimate, and I think the FBI has reason to believe it may well be, this person has been incredibly successful at hiding his identity. Believe me, it's not for a lack of trying. So, you know, as technology advances, not just for the FBI and crime solving, but for perpetrators, for kidnappers, you know, to create anonymity, I think we're seeing that much more than I've ever seen in the past, because usually the FBI is able to crack things much more easily, but this was really, really sophisticated. So, you know, look, I mean, there's a profile already in this guy. I mean, the guy is 5'9", 5'10". He appears to have a mustache, a goatee. We have identified both the backpack and the jacket that he's wearing, both of which were purchased at Walmart. There's no doubt in my mind, and law enforcement believes this too, that the guy is from the Tucson area. He is tech savvy and he is smart. The letter that was written is really well constructed. So
I have a problem every time Harvey says this. Why is he equating doofus at the door with being the high-tech savvy guy that's behind those emails? If anything, this guy was for hire, if anything. If those legitly have something to do with it, okay, he's just like, what? Like, hey, we'll pay you like this much money. But he keeps trying to equate that, you know, this guy's, you know, smart, tech savvy. No. Harvey, you got that wrong. This dude is not the dude that's sitting there asking for the $6 million. If anything, this is the donkey that's there to do the work. That's probably going to make some money off of this. That's probably why dipshit there is wearing a gun in front of his dick, you know, because every robber knows to put their gun right there. No, it was probably somebody, if anything, to do with that, if anything, because Harvey keeps saying that police are keenly interested. So if anything, this guy was for hire, you know. I mean, there's so many things we could kind of guess about it so far, you know. Was it two people? Or was the ransom not even equated? But if the ransom is equated, but then it's so weird. So where's the other ransom saying we want $8 million? Where's the proof of life? That doesn't make sense, right? Doesn't make sense sending out a freaking ransom 2 days after and saying $4 million, you know, and then not send proof of life. Doesn't make sense at all. But what does make sense? I don't know. I don't want to listen to Harvey no more. I'm gonna go watch this other one. Share screen. This one says, don't get your hopes up on glove DNA, Sergeant says. Right. I don't think so either. But it's better to have some hope than no hope.
Outside of the Guthrie home in Tucson. Brian, this new video from Savannah tonight. And meanwhile, what have you seen from authorities today?
Yeah, the Savannah video, which was just posted a little while ago, is just heartbreaking and reminds you, you get so focused on the investigation, but you're reminded of just what this family is going through right now. Not only Savannah, but her siblings, Cameron and Annie. In terms of the investigation, there's been a lot of action over the last couple of days. The latest, Natasha, is the FBI confirming that a glove found about 2 miles from where I'm standing at Nancy Guthrie's house contained DNA that is now being tested, and they're going to put it into the CODIS federal database and try to see if it links back with anyone who could be a potential suspect in the case. That comes on top of us learning that there was DNA found inside Nancy Guthrie's home, DNA that doesn't connect back to Nancy Guthrie or to anyone in her inner circle. So that is another big development. And it seems that all of these DNA elements are starting to come together in a way that we may see some real movement in the case. I spoke with a sergeant with the Pima County Sheriff's Office, who is also the union president, about what he thinks about these latest developments. Listen to this.
Apparently, there's a lot of gloves that have been found. Yeah. What do you make of that? I mean, I guess these gloves are used for all sorts of purposes, it seems.
It is pretty common. It could be from investigators. It could also be, I mean, we have a large amount of homeless that live and camp in the area. We also have, we've experienced a lot of nighttime car break-ins in this area as well. So, I mean, it could be from any one of those things. Hopefully it's related to the Guthrie kidnapping or incident, and they're able to get some DNA out of it, and it breaks the case open. But I understand it was found a couple miles away. Hopefully, as he's driving away, he throws his gloves out the window. Maybe we'll get a lucky break, but there's a lot of possibilities.
So hopefully we will find out more soon in terms of this DNA testing that's happening behind the scenes. We may also soon find out more about the SWAT raid that happened on Friday night. There were no arrests, but I'm told it is still very much an ongoing investigation. Remember, there was a federal search warrant, so they're still going through items that they recovered, including electronics, and we may find out more on that front soon also.
Yeah,
Natasha?
appreciate that. And Brian, so many are closely watching the glove that you mentioned, watching what we may find here. What would you say to those at home who are frustrated at the pace of this investigation, some of the communication that has been going back and forth, and the fact that we are more than 2 weeks out now?
Yeah, I mean, it's been 2 weeks, which is not a good thing with these kinds of cases. Obviously, they always say the first 48 hours are the most critical, and that's true. The farther you get out from those first 48 hours, the harder it is to solve a case. So it is frustrating for people who live in the neighborhood. It's obviously frustrating for Savannah Guthrie and her family, but I would say that they are making significant progress. And I think it started with the photos that were released from Nancy's doorbell camera, which was, pretty incredible that the FBI was able to obtain those, even though Nancy didn't have a subscription. And now that we're learning more about DNA that's been recovered, and there have been these SWAT raids. So there's a lot happening behind the scenes, Natasha. And the hope is maybe in the coming days, they'll really, really start to make a.
Brian, you're fucking up Kelly's brain cells there. There is no 100%. This is just assuming. All right. There's no 100%. It could be Zach or Luke, and it could not be whatsoever. It's just sleuth putting faces side by side, trying to connect dots, but don't take it as fact. It's not fact. Yeah. But Brian Entin, yeah, just a sidetrack on that. He's got the most luscious lips. Sorry, Brian, but you do, dude. I could kiss those lips. My husband has great lips, though. Sorry. This is just me being a little bit of a sleuth right now. But Brian just has, I don't know, that perfect face lips noise, y'all. Not married, though. Don't see a ring on his finger. Maybe somebody can get lucky. I don't know. Unless he's gay. I don't know. Maybe he's gay. And Brian can have him. Just kidding. But what was I going to say? Oh, this is what I want to ask you guys. What I wanted to ask you guys was the whole Annie home and the police and whatever FBI searching like all the 4 blocks, saying that they're looking for something that was dropped or whatever. Yeah, to be honest with you, hey, Brian, that's actually, now that I think about that, Brian and Brian. He's not? Okay. Because I kind of thought he was, to be honest with you. But I didn't care. Still, it's kind of like Adam. What's his name? Adam. Come on, no. X Factor. Adam. Yeah. Actually, there's a few of them from X Factor that you're like, oh, man, you're hot. And I know internally we're kind of going, damn. Because they're just like so sexy and hot. But whatever. Nancy. It's about Nancy. Shut up, Sonny. All right. But anyways, but all that searching around Annie's home, like, what's up with that? How many times they kept going back and forth to Annie's home and that area? Like, what would, like, I can understand. Remember how they were taking pictures in Annie's house and blah, blah, blah. I can understand that. But why are you searching like 4 blocks away? Right? What are you looking for? What is something telling you? Maybe nothing told them anything. But what was it? Somebody that was at that home, possibly? That, I don't know. It's all weird. It's just weird, all of it. Like, it's all just weird. You know, one minute you're thinking it's Tomato Dude, you know, somewhat money motivated. It's money motivated, you know. There's, I feel like it's kind of crazy to have, when you have like, there's going to be answers soon. There will be. But it's just crazy for all these highs and lows, making my emotions go on a roller coaster ride for Nancy. One minute you're thinking she was alive the other day, you know, when they did that first pullover on Carlos and bringing in the freaking whole units, right? And then there was like that bit of hope there that maybe Nancy was bunkered down in some person's basement asking for a ransom and shit. Yeah, Tomato's not mine no more, but I'll have to go tonight when I'm lying in bed. I'll force myself to watch Sleuth and see what he's come up with. I didn't even know he was even following the case, but because it's not like he pops up in my feed. Now he will. Thank you, Brian. But anyways, no, I mean, I'm always interested to look at, because the stuff that Sleuth is doing is the stuff that I do, is that I did in Delphi, the stuff that I like to do. I've just been not doing it like normally I would do that, make videos, put faces together, you know, but sometimes you get, you know, it's definitely easy to kind of fit something that doesn't necessarily fit or look like something. And in this case, we have a mustache, we have a goatee here, you know. I remember that person the other night, one of the news people said, good luck trying to fire that glove with all the or fire that gun with all the gloves on. So you think it's Luke or Zach? Brian, you think it's Luke or Zach? If you were a betting person, which you are. Okay, and then when Luke happened, it was like, oh, I guess Luke was making money dealing in 2007. Luke is a breathtaking dude. You know, I'll stick with ones on this side of the law. Maybe not those ones. No. I think it's the Range Rover guys. Well, like I said, you know, Well, to be honest with you, you guys, we finish watching this? Hold on. Did we finish watching this? Yeah, it's over on there. Okay. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go good night. I'm going to go bunker. I'm going to go get something to drink, go get something to eat. I'm going to bunker myself down with my iPad, and I'm going to start looking at these Lukes and, well, according to Brian, it's Luke. I'm going to go start looking at these people. And you're saying, hold on, I just want to make clear. Well, actually, no, I'll just watch the video, but Luke is the Range Rover dude. Is that who Luke is, right? Luke Range Rover? Did you send an email? Oh, nope. I got a Google Play order receipt, though. How much? $279, 100 gigs, Google Drive, blah, blah, blah. Told me I was running out of space. So I was like, not happening. Okay, so, yeah. So, you did not find it? I'm only attracted to the right side of the law. You can have the left side of the law, Brian. Okay, that's the video that Who is Luke, Daly or Daly or whatever it is, on Sleuth Intuition's channel. All right, you guys have a good night. Miss Dog Lover, thank you again. Miss Dog Lover, thank you again. Oh, Miss Dog Lover, thank you again. Oh, Brian, thank you for gifting yourself a membership. That's crazy. That's crazy. Don't I have any? Do I have any to give away? Still? What do I have? View my channel. View my channel. What's the date today? The 15th? Wait, no, that's not what I want to see. What the heck? Membership? Nope. Super chats? Nope. Gift. Yes, I'll super chat myself. Membership gifting. I have 10. I can send 5 right now. Why not? Let's do it. Let's send 5 memberships out while the numbers are low. Kelly Palmer. Goodbye. Let's see. Purple sneakers. Got one. Vegan Glow, Kami, and Miss Persevere Show. I don't think any of those people are in here right now. On there. Anyway. Do unto others, right, Brian? you don't see it gifting me my own membership. That's crazy. I desert you guys all in a second, like I'm going to do right now. So anyways, you guys have a great night. I'm sure I'm going to see you guys tomorrow because I do have a day off again for the family day. I usually don't get the holidays off, but whatever. But anyways, you guys have a great night. Thank you guys for being here. If you haven't hit the like and the share, please do so. Yeah, desert you guys all in a second. Okay. Anyways, you guys, bless. Prayers for Nancy Guthrie and the family, and answers ASAP. Okay? Go to bed, light a candle for Nancy, whatever. Prayers for Nancy, and answers. Answers. Okay, good night, guys. I'm going to end the live. Have a good one. See you tomorrow. All right, I'm deserting you. Bye, guys.